Hello everyone, welcome back to the Fast Travel Lounge. My name is Patrick and you're listening to episode 21. That's right, if this episode was in the States, it would now be legal for it to drink, but let's be honest, it would have been drinking for the last probably 6 or 7 years. I am joined by Saif and Steve, no Josh this week. Say hi everyone.
Hey everyone.
Hi everyone.
So, what happened to Josh this week? My theory is that he heard that Amber Heard shit in bed and wanted to see what it was like, and is still there.
I heard, I ambered, so because, I've been trying to think of a pun all week on Amber Heard, and really the only thing I think I've come up with is,
Please don't say Amber Alert.
I was going to say Amber Hearing, but Amber Alert's actually a funny one. Can I start again?
All week. Get absolutely rolled. That's what we call host privilege right there. Seth, what do you think happened to Josh?
My working theory is that he's distraught about Elon Musk buying Twitter, so he's going to go and do something about the stock market.
He's got to go tweet as much as he can before the shutdown happens.
Yeah, before.
I thought he was going to Mars to show him up.
He could be. God, if he does that, he's going to be away for quite a few episodes.
He would, but I mean, you know, he talks enough bullshit, he'd probably be able to terraform Mars nicely, get a nice carbon dioxide atmosphere going, so, you know, probably saves Elon a bit of the work. Anyway, hopefully Josh is back next week. So, for today, feel like I am obligated to ask, has anyone's phone broken recently? Has anyone been to Krispy Kreme?
No, I'm sorry, we don't have early content to spill about.
Guys, that was the homework for this week. Come on.
I know, I was meant to get those PlayStation donuts and I just forgot.
I thought about getting them, but then I didn't. I had a good chat with someone about them on the car ride home from OzTag, but then I thought better of it.
What did your friend say about them?
Wait. Thought better of the chat with your friend or of the PlayStation donuts?
No,
like you got halfway through the conversation, you're like, actually, this conversation's beneath me, and then you just talk about politics.
No, we were talking about Krispy Kreme the whole way home. And then by the time I'm like, yeah, we should go to Krispy Kreme, like I was out the front of his house. So I'm like, well, I'm fucking here. I'm not coming back. Like, you can either get out or not. And then he got out. And I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. And then I just went home because I'm not, couldn't be bothered going to Krispy Kreme. But he was saying that he's like also eaten, like me, 12 original glazed donuts in a row and gotten very ill.
In a row. I love that it's like a high score thing. You know, you hit 12, and then you get to input a 3-character name, which naturally would be Ass, because that's always the funniest one, or Pat in my case, because it's the first half of my name.
Well, after you eat 12, you prestige, and prestige involves shitting out of every orifice, and then you can go for it again.
New Donut Plus, I like it.
New Donut Plus.
Same class, though?
Maybe no. Oh, I guess you like the different classes with the different flavors, then you have to get like 12... chocolate glaze.
Oh no, I meant like societal class. Like, are you still poor when you do New Donut Plus?
Well, if you're eating fucking 12 Krispy Kreme donuts in a row, like you might be poor in money, but you're rich in spirit.
Oh, I see. You're going for the min-max build. Fair enough.
Yeah. Fair enough. Okay, that was a good one.
Thank you.
Money,
I tried.
Donuts.
Yeah. Every time you think to yourself, man, why aren't I the host of the award-winning Fast Travel Lounge podcast? Just remember this moment, right? Just remember this. Remember what you're up against. Anyway,
I cry myself to sleep every night.
Might go straight to Around the Lounge for this week. Seth, you've been awfully quiet when we talk about min-maxing New Donut Plus. What have you been up to this week?
Editing last week's podcast, and I decided to start watching...
You're not supposed to say that.
It was the majority of my week, I'm sorry.
Fuck.
And we thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Now we're going to get emails.
Yeah.
Patrick, you're working Seth to death again.
Give me a pay rise. Give me a pay.
Talk to Mr. Cream about that.
Going through a tunnel. Sorry.
No. On a more serious note, I was playing Ace Attorney, but I'm not gonna talk about that because I haven't finished it yet.
Oh, you cliffhangered it last week too.
I know. I feel so bad about that.
The double cliffhanger.
Yeah, like people were expecting.
You know what's gonna be crazy?
Yeah, go.
Josh is gonna be back next week. And you're just going to discuss Ace Attorney 3, and we're all going to act like it was totally normal that you only cliffhangered it for one episode.
Yeah, we didn't actually do this week's episode.
Yeah. I mean, let's face it, even if we did, he's not going to go back and listen to it.
All my hard work, and he won't even listen to it.
I mean, he's too busy editing the spoiler cast.
Yeah, true.
That's what he's doing right now.
Yes.
Is it even the spoiler cast anymore, or just the cast?
I'm not even sure if we can call it a cast. It's going to be like a throwback Thursday episode 1 or something.
In review.
Yeah, on a more serious note, I spent some time with my girlfriend watching Stranger Things and played some Far Cry 6 this week.
Oh, yeah. Is that... Hang on. Which one? So 5 is America, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So 6 is...
I think
what's the guy's name? Giancarlo, the guy from Breaking Bad. The We Are Not the Same ads.
Yes, him.
Yeah.
It took me a second to realize It took me a second to realize, and I was like, "Oh yeah, him. He wasn't Breaking Bad."
He's in the
Giancarlo
Mandalorian as
Esposito,
well.
I think.
Yeah.
That's his
That's
last
his name, yeah,
Esposito.
something like that.
I really wanted
If
to
he
say
lives
Despacito, and I couldn't figure out why.
For some reason, my mind was
Despa.
just going through like Heisenberg and Jesse, and I was like, "Who else? Who else is in Breaking Bad?"
Which
There's
one of them
Skylar
wasn't
and-
white? Fuck.
Hank, don't do it, man. Have you guys seen that cameo video that the guy who plays Hank did? And he's like, "Oh, someone seems sus. I think there's an imposter among us. Walter, a sussy bucker." And it's the most fucking cool thing in the entire. Someone paid money for him to say that.
Someone paid $5 for it, and it was great.
But please put more than $5. Like I think it's like $100 for 10 seconds for someone like him.
Someone also got the Halo announcer to say "Mommy Milkies."
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. People
I'll
get
put
the
that in
Halo
the
announcer
chat.
to see fucking anything.
And he does
he's
say
such a
anything as
legend.
well.
Yeah, I know, it's great. Yeah.
Maybe we can get him to say Fast Travel Lounge.
We could.
We'll get him to say Fast Travel Lounge brought to you by Krispy Kreme, and that'll be our intro.
We can't get sued by Krispy Kreme. Steve goes there too
anyway.
much.
Or not
Sure.
enough.
Anything else, Seth? I love how every time Josh isn't here, Steve and I derailed you in Round the Lounge. That's got to be a record.
I managed to get through what I did. I was like, yeah,
Sorry, I didn't mean to derail you again, but $77 for a cameo from the guy who does the Halo announcement. Fucking hell.
He was just about to say he'd finished his week, Steve. You had
Sorry.
I can't even finish my
5-second
week without
thing.
being derailed.
Sorry, continue.
Is that 77 US? Because that'd
Or
be like
maybe I'd assume so.
100-ish for us.
No, it says A and there's a dollar sign and 77.
Okay, then yeah, that's
But-
77 Australian.
But it isn't Australian dollar AUD?
Yeah, but I think when that you go on websites like that, they do an A at the front for Australia.
Maybe it's Azerbaijani dollars.
Ooh, could
Wouldn't
be.
that be AB? Well, AB's all black.
Ooh. True. AJ, maybe? I'm not sure. Anyway, Steve, what have you been up to this week?
To be honest, I played no new games from last week. Maybe because I'm playing that ukulele and the Impossible Lair, and it's
Kind
Is
of
it impossible?
it's just the lair. I'm getting through the levels. I'm finding it like cool. I'll play it for an hour, and I'm like, okay, I'll see you in 48 hours. Like I said it before, I said it again. I fucking hate platformers, and like it's getting better. It's not hooking me in. It's dirty claws into me. But yeah, and I'm also playing The Last of Us Part 2.
Hey.
I thought I was going to finish that on Sunday, and then something happens, and I'll talk about it, and it's like, oh, okay.
I think I know the exact moment that you're talking. Yeah, we'll get into that.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
I had the same feeling when I played part 2.
I'm 90% sure what you thought was the ending was just the halfway point.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But anyway, and then I'm still playing Elden Ring. To be honest, I'm
Old
not going to.
news.
Yeah,
Who asked?
yeah. Don't care. Didn't ask. Ratioed. Touch grace.
Yeah.
Maidens, etc.
Maidenless. Yeah.
It's still really good. I'm not going to talk about it. When I probably
Yeah.
finish it, I might give the in-depth Stephen review.
I mean, you might as well give like a 30-second update. I'm sure. I mean, the chances are when I return to it eventually, I'll also be given a little 30-second.
Have you
update.
still
Anyway,
not finished it yet, man?
No, I haven't finished it yet.
How do you like? I've got like a voice in the back of my head that says I can't move on from a game until I finish it. Whether that's the story mode or whatever bullshit challenge I've given myself.
Both Patrick and I did this thing where we were playing Elden Ring, and then a game that was more tailored to our taste came out.
Yeah,
So we put
absolutely
Elden Ring.
true.
Yeah. So we put Elden Ring on the back burner to finish our specific games, and then went back to it.
And you know what's even more fucked about that? Yours was Stranger of Paradise, mine was Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. Both of them have an end game that involves rerunning the game at higher difficulty with something related to chaos.
Yep.
Like,
Fantastic.
What the hell?
Like I said, tailored to us as a pair.
Chaos. Anyway, thank you for that, Steve. I will actually contribute something this week because I want to talk about the Coiled Captors DLC, which came out for Tiny Tina's, and I hinted at last week. I have words. We will get into that. Cool. Why don't we... I really feel like I should have some sort of organizational thing before we do this, but instead I just get to the end of Round Lounge and go, what makes sense for an order, and just do it on the fly. Far Cry 6 sounds interesting. Why don't we start with that?
Yeah, sure. So
Hang on, before we get into this, how much did you buy it?
No, Trinity bought it for me.
Oh, fantastic! All right, cool. Play on then.
Yeah,
Because because Ubisoft games always sort of sit pretty weirdly with me. Because if you wait literally 12 months after release, they have like
a
the
massive
complete
sale
edition.
Yeah,
and they have with the complete edition, and it's like the base game gets put down to like $15, and the complete edition becomes like $25. But no, if someone else bought it for you, that's completely understandable. Play on.
Yeah, no,
sucks to be Trin.
No, Trin got me the gold edition, which had the season pass included, and it was on sale on the US store for like $40. So yeah, it didn't hurt the wallet too much. But yeah, it was just one of those things where this is a game that she really wanted to play and wanted to do co-op together. So I'm all on board to do that. And yeah, basically just gotten past what's I would call like the tutorial section, which still took like 3-4 hours to do. But it slowly introduces you to all like sorts of different mechanics. Like for some reason this Far Cry has like a gear system and a crafting system, which still early at the moment, so I don't have too many thoughts about it. There's also, it's more RPG-ish than the other ones. Like enemies have health bars and like they're weak to certain bullet types and things. So
I mean, aren't most of the enemies like people? Aren't they just weak to bullets in general?
Yeah, it's like if an enemy is wearing armor, then you need to use armor-piercing bullets. But if they're just flesh people,
if they're just civilians,
if they're just civilians, then you use hollow bullets or rubber bullets or something.
Hollow points.
And, hollow points. Yeah, and they say specifically that they'll pop like a watermelon, and they really do.
Ugh.
Damn.
Have you played all the other Far Cry's before?
I've played Far Cry 3. I played Far Cry 5 for about an hour or so, and then put it down. So
okay, so it's not like as if you're a die-hard fan.
Yeah,
well,
no,
you can't be a die-hard fan. The game's been out for like a year, but like okay, so it's good to sort of get that engagement.
Yeah, like I really enjoyed 3. I thought that was a great game, and then
I still think 3 is kind of the highlight of when they got the formula right.
Yeah, and even then it's like stops being the highlight after Vass's death.
I think 3 only got the formula right because it was the first to do that formula. Like it's, I reckon if you went back and played it now, it wouldn't be groundbreaking, or it'd be like, oh, okay, like it probably just gets refined as more of the Far Cry Ubisoft open world games come out. But it's probably because it did get that note first, and that's why it does hold a special place in our heart.
I think you're probably right, but where was Far Cry 4 set?
Far Cry 4 was set in Tibet, I think.
Or Tibet, Nepal, like a mountainous sort of Eastern Asia.
But that's the thing, is that like you have to kind of think about it, right? Same with 5, you're like, oh, I think that's the American one, and then 6 is the one with Giancarlo Esposito in it. 3, you say Far Cry 3, even if you haven't played it, or even if you haven't completed it, you know so much more about that game because it was just more memorable. So that partially speaks to the formulaic approach of Ubisoft games, but getting the formula right is also, like, probably is, because it was the first round that got the formula right. But the fact that it's so memorable kind of makes itself the highlight, I think, or I would posit to the group.
I think what also helps it a lot is the characters were actually pretty good in it as well. Like the main villain sucked, like after you get rid of Vass, but Vass himself was great, his sister was great. It's been so long that I'm blanking on like specific character names, which is really going against my point. But
I mean, people still throw memes of Vass into, just like topical points nowadays are still punctuated with Far Cry 3 memes.
Yeah,
I don't see memes of other Far Cries, punctuating, societal discourse in the same way. So it definitely left an imprint. I think.
I think it was also the one that just like hit the highest point for Far Cry as well, like in terms of people playing it, because after 3 they went to Primal and people were like, oh, this is kind of more of the same, and then 4 came out, it's like, yeah, this is still kind of more of the same. And then
5 came out and it was like 4 but with more bugs, and everyone's like, oh, that's kind of entertaining.
I thought Primal came out after 4.
I thought it was before 4. I could be wrong on that.
I feel like it was after 4 as well, but they were very similar. I felt like, even though they were very, very different time periods, they felt like they were doing something similar between both games.
Yeah, and at that point they were like becoming bi-yearly releases or something, so it ran into that Ubisoft thing of they're milking this for all it's worth and it's not that great. People are getting tired of it. So I think Far Cry 3 has the most Ezio
going sends
for
his
it.
Regards.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Far Cry 6.
Yeah, 6. It's
so where is the setting?
It's in the South Americas. In like
I thought it was, because the promotional material for that, I always felt like it was the one that was closest to something like Just Cause.
Yeah, it's like, it's not Puerto Rico itself, but it's like that sort of setting. I just need to look it up specifically. I think it's like Panama or something.
I don't think it matters the specific, like, they're not going to make it after a specific locale, but
yeah,
that sort of area, that's cool. So,
okay, it's in Yara, which is a part of Cuba.
Hey, I've been to Cuba.
Well, a fictional. Sorry, Yara is a fictional place based on Cuba.
Yeah, that makes more sense. So, because we've just talked about the highlight of the series being 3, so where does 6 stack up from what you've played so far?
It's better than 5 from what I've seen, but I need to get further into it before I really.
Is that really a high bar though?
Again, I only played 5 for like an hour, so it's hard to talk about it like that. So yeah, it's like it's stepping over a bar that's on the floor for that.
And just passed the corpse of 5.
Yeah, and so it's just when I get deeper into it if it stacks up to 3 or not. Yeah. And because I got the gold edition, I got all the DLC to go through later on as well that go into like all the past Far Cry villains as well. Like they've got DLC episodes based on Vaas and Pagan Min, and
cool.
Yeah, and I forget the name of the 5 villain. I think it's like Joseph.
Probably.
It's something because it was like it's got heavy religious themes.
Yeah, it does.
The couple of things that I've seen about it, yeah.
You tell me that the boss of 5 is a Christian fundamentalist, be like, yeah, he probably is called Joseph.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, you
really
got three names. Three names, right?
I also want to point out that you get animal buddies that help you throughout the game. I've only got one at the moment, which is an alligator named Guapo, and Guapo is the most precious thing ever. Every now and then,
I thought you meant like a dog.
Yeah, no, it's a little alligator, but you can get a little dog that is in a wheelchair as a partner as well.
Yeah, I've seen that on some of the materials around.
Yeah.
Do they? Or how much have you played with them? Are they like useful, or is it pretty much just like you put a marker on a map and then it's like, yeah, go dog or go Guapo
alligator?
You can put a marker on enemies, like you'll aim at them and then hit one of the directions on the D-pad, and it'll send Guapo after them. But they also just go after enemies on their own. So like every now and then I'll be shooting someone, kill them, turn to go aim at another enemy, and I'm like, oh no, Guapo's on the way to them. I'll let Guapo handle it. Because it's extremely funny seeing him just grab onto their leg and just kill them like that.
You have to give him the secret code phrase, see you later, alligator.
I cannot handle this anymore. I'm out.
Is he a crocodile? Do you have to see him in a... Hang on.
Wait. Think about it.
It's in a wild crocodile, yeah.
Man,
there we go.
Have you ever like said a joke and literally just shat the bed? Fucking hell.
I heard Amber Heard does that.
But she does it ironically.
She does half of that.
Yeah.
What is that meme? And it's like 5 a.m. shits, 5:15 gets out of bed.
Yeah. 5 a.m. wake up, 5:15 shit the bed. Shit. 5:20 get out.
Yeah.
It's the Sigma male morning grind set. The 5 a.m. wake up, 5:10 breakfast, 5:15 shower and shit, and then 5:20 get out of bed.
Shower and shit in bed.
I like how all 3 of us had to turn off saying that exact same joke.
Yeah, no, but mine was the best.
I said it first.
Hey, future Saif, you know which one.
I'm just gonna
Okay,
let
now
that
the
sit for a
silence is going
second.
a bit long. Yeah. I apologize. Past Patrick is not current Patrick. Current Patrick will strive to do better.
I hope this absolute clusterfuck does not get cleaned up in the fucking. If I had to go through it, everybody else should go through it.
You got it, buddy.
It's crazy because it all started with you trying to figure out in a wild crocodile.
So these pets, are they any good?
The pets are fine. Every now and then Guapo will just kill enemies for me, and I'm like, that's a good boy, Guapo. You do that.
Do you have to revive Guapo if he goes down?
What was that?
Do you have to revive Guapo if he goes down?
Yes, you do.
He takes a bullet for you. You have to go down and give him the old defibrillator, the old mouth to mouth.
You just kind of like pat him until he's better. I've also because I've been playing co-op. There was something I wanted to mention where like there was one mission where you have to hit 2 different areas of a map, and I was like, oh, let's try if you hit this area, Trinity, and I'll hit the other one. But there's a distance cap on how far you can get from your partners before it starts like giving you a warning that the session will end. So that was a bit disappointing. So far though, the game's been pretty good. So yeah, I've been enjoying it.
That's kind of so. Hang on, is that distance thing? Because it's one large game world. I assumed, maybe wrongfully, that most of that would be open to multiplayer. So is it based on the host location, or what's the distance limit?
I think I'm not 100% sure on what the distance limit is, but it's just like you and whoever you're co-oping with can't get too far away from each other in the session, really. So like you explore the whole map together and everything, but like you can't get like, I don't know, 7 kilometers away from each other or something.
It just seems like a weird limitation in something that prides itself on being a large open world game. But
yeah.
I don't know.
It's probably
Weird.
to avoid people like co-oping and doing speed runs, clears of like, you go to this end of the map and clear things out while I do this end of the map and clear things out.
Overall thoughts / give us the tasty cliffhanger for next week when presumably you'll have more to say on it.
Yeah, pretty good so far. Excited to get the little dog and see what he does to enemies. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. Co-op's a lot of fun. So far, 7 out of 10, I guess.
Fair enough.
You haven't even
Factoring in that
played
you didn't
much
have
of
to
it
pay
yet.
for it, 8 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll give it an extra point for that. You're right. 8 out of 10 because I didn't have to pay for it myself.
That's not a. So what are you doing? So that means all my games should like go up a point because I'm not paying through it because of the magic of Game Pass.
You're paying for Game Pass.
Game Pass is free, right?
If you go through a Brazilian VPN, you get 3 years for like $50. Don't tell Daddy Gates. Don't tell Phil
What's
Spencer.
that? Microsoft stock is going down because you're telling them this one dirty trick.
Yeah.
Microsoft hates him.
Yeah. Find out when Microsoft absolutely hates Steven. Thank you for that. Thank you for that, Seth. Look forward to hearing more about it because I'm curious where because final thing because Giancarlo, I don't remember what his in-game name is, but he plays the bad guy, right?
Yeah,
That's
and he's been
thing.
pretty great as a bad guy so far, and his son in the game is also pretty great so far.
Yeah, because I'd be curious where once you sort of get towards the end of it where he stacks up villain-wise compared to the other Far Cry's, but we'll have to wait and see for that. Steve, where are you at in Last of Us 2? I feel like Seth and I are gonna have comments on this.
So I'm playing as Abby. So that's the midway point I was talking about before. It's like Ellie gets like beaten over the head, and you're like, oh shit, like there's a big storm going on. What's going to happen? And she gets the shit beaten out of her by Abby. Then it's like fade to black, and you get Abby's backstory. And I think it's pretty cool. I'm currently up to the bit where she gets rescued by a couple of scars, I think. Or she gets trapped by some scars, which is like a third faction, which seem to be this weird religious sort of cult thing. And then these sort of runaway scars come and save her. While she's looking for Owen in the aquarium. On day 2 of Seattle, I believe. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. Like I'm like, okay, cool. It's coming to an end. Like it's been a pretty long adventure, a pretty wild ride, and then it's like, all right, well, we've got literally half the game, and a whole bunch of other characters.
Yeah.
So what was the moment that you thought was going to build towards the end? Just the aquarium showdown.
The aquarium showdown, like it's like storming really heavy. It's like really intense. You can sort of see what's going on. That there's that I cannot remember his name, but your friend saves Ellie, the Asian dude, and then he gets shot, and it's like, oh shit. And then like Abby and Ellie have a bit of a fight, and it looks like Ellie's going to get killed, and it's like fade to black. And I'm like, oh shit, it's going to be like this is the final stretch, but no, it's the halfway. Masterfully well done. It keeps throwing me like different sort of things that I didn't expect I'd care about. Like it's seeing Abby's backstory and why she hates Joel so much and why she had to kill him. Like sort of gives it a bit more of a. It's better than just having a monologue at the end and be like, "Oh, I killed Joel because he stopped because he killed all the Fireflies and my dad was the head surgeon who was going to make
the old James Bond villain monologue."
Yeah. Like it's half of what I expected was going to happen, and then it didn't. And it playing through Abby, like in the first scene of when you're playing as Abby, you're with her dad, and you can sort of see her dad's like treating a zebra because the zebra gets stuck in this barbed wire fence. Yeah, it's barbed wire, and it's just given birth as well, and. Yeah, and then there's like and then there's
probably saved an orphanage off screen before you found it. Yeah,
probably. Yeah, and then there's like a skip, and then it's like Joel's killing her dad, and she walks in, and it's like, oh fuck. And then it's like her in the Washington Liberation Front, the Wolves. And then you're sort of playing as her, and you're sort of meeting her friends and what's going on with them. And I think it's fantastic story writing, and the way they've done it is just. Fantastic. I came into this game maybe seeing all the hype online, not knowing what to expect. I didn't know whether I'd like it or whether I'd hate it. And I honestly, unless the ending, because I think I'm about 75-80% of the way now, unless the ending completely fucks me over, I think this is like one of the greatest pieces of storytelling. Like
I can think of about 3 major things that you'll play through. From where it sounds like you are, because as I keep saying every week, it's been a while since I played it, but there are a couple of moments towards the end that are large set pieces that they're not time sinks, but like there are large, like, you know, when we come back and do this again next week, you'll be like, oh yeah, this thing happened. It'll be like, aha, yeah, that's one of the large pieces. So you got a little bit to go.
Yeah, there's something I kind of want to bring.
You was sorry, you go, Saif. Fine. Yeah, because the part that I thought it was building towards the climax in the end is further on from you, and it still wasn't the end.
Shit. Okay, so I've got like three or four more false starts, mad.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So just brace yourself, because there was one I was like, yeah, this has to be it. This is it. This is the finale. But nope, Chuck Tester. Boom, old meme. Seth, what were you going to say?
Yeah, so there's something that I wanted to bring up that was, I find it a little bit interesting about this game's story in that Abby's storyline is kind of something they were going to toy with in The Last of Us Part 1, but they decided to cut it out because they thought it would be, like, it didn't make any sense, it seemed unrealistic, and that was that Tess in The Last of Us 1, she was going to start tracking down Joel. Like, she wasn't going to die when she did. He was going to betray her, and she'd be trying to track him down across the country for the entire game. And their thought process was like, no, we'll cut this out because it doesn't make sense for someone in this apocalyptic setting to spend like an entire year trying to chase down this one person and make that like their driving force when there's so much survival and everything to go through. And then The Last of Us Part 2 comes around and it's like, hey, remember that dropped storyline for Tess? We're just going to do a character based on that.
I think it
interesting,
because there's 2 parts to like the revenge story. It's one, it's that Joel literally killed Abby's dad like in cold blood to save Ellie. But then there's also that subplot of like Joel literally fucked the human race by doing it. Like Abby's dad was the one person that could make a vaccine by killing Ellie and taking the whatever he had to take out of her. And Joel just like, no, fuck you, my replacement daughter is more important than literally every other single person in the world.
Yeah, I don't think from what I've seen of the game anyway that Abby cares too much for that second point. It's more for
she doesn't.
Yeah.
But there definitely is a couple of moments where like she like not her specifically, but some of her group like does say like he was the only one that could have done a vaccine. Like Abby doesn't care about it 100%, but at the same time, there is sort of that in the back of the mind. Maybe there is sort of something like maybe Joel does deserve this type of thing. Does he? It's this podcast's view that he does. He's literally. It is one of the most selfish acts you can fucking do.
Yeah, just speak for all of us.
But look, all I'm saying is if you had a chance to save the entire world from a post-apocalyptic setting and you choose to save some girl you've known for a year, look, just take a fucking hard look at yourself, big fella. Yeah. But
what he did definitely wasn't the correct thing to do. But it felt right at the moment.
Yeah, it was the correct thing for him. Like I understand it, and he's probably like broken going through his own like the 20 years after losing his daughter, and that's fine. Like it's, but at the same time, like morally, but I don't know. Maybe he does deserve it. Maybe I didn't like playing The Last of Us 1 and then killing everybody because I knew it was the wrong thing to do. It was like a renegade playthrough I had to do.
Exactly, yeah. You try and kill Ellie and Joel at all parts through part 1, and the game's like, nah, sorry, man, you have to finish the game like this. And you finish the game, you're like, fuck, can't believe they wouldn't let me kill them off. And then it gets to part 2, you played through it for like an hour, and you just start celebrating. You're like, yeah, finally.
Well, you can just put the game down after Abby kills Joel, and that's it. That's
after the Joel percent, yeah.
Yeah. The Joel percent speedrun.
You're past it now, so I want to know if you ever saw this, but did you see the trailer where like Abby's in this, like they end on a stinger of Abby's gets pulled to like the side of her house so she doesn't tip off the wolves or whatever faction was around there, and it shows Joel and he says, you think I would have let you do this alone?
I can't remember that, no.
Okay, if you had remembered it, I was going to ask what your thought of was like that fake out, because in the game they replaced it with another character, and it was I don't know, that trailer was very interesting to me, like of what direction they could have taken the story if it was Joel that was the one that had pulled her to the corner.
Well, remember too that because of the I think it was because of the plot being leaked that they did end up changing some of the story at the end of development.
Yeah, that could have been the case. I'm thinking more of like, so maybe they always had the plan of killing Joel at the beginning, and I think it would have been really interesting to see like if Ellie was having these episodes where she was seeing Joel everywhere, like going through her own sort of like stress and trauma.
Okay, yeah, I see what you mean.
But it like that's based off like a way a trailer cuts and edited something, and then they completely changed it in the final game where it's a different character doing that scene. It was a fake out moment.
And then you get to swap with your own custom generated character from the Saints Row character customization thing that we talked about last week.
Wait, sorry, say that again.
Hulk Man inserted into Last of Us Part 2. Let's go.
That'll be for the multiplayer. That's coming, I swear.
Speaking of though, fucking hell, Abby is built like a fucking brick shit house. Holy shit.
She is.
Yeah.
One punch would fucking go right through my fucking measly brain. Good. Far out. But it's good so they sort of play on with that, because there's like a cutscene of like a flashback scene with Abby when she's with Owen at the aquarium. And like she says, like she's benching like 175 or something, which is about like 80 kilos. And I'm like, fuck hell. Very, very strong, tough girl.
I mean, she's basically benching Owen.
Yeah, pretty much. But then at the same time, like she's, it's a post-apocalyptic world. You got to punch into infected, and what are you doing? Someone's got to do God's work.
It's crazy that even in post-apocalyptic world, we still find a way to do performance-enhancing drugs.
I'm just surprised that we still have pugilists and monks running around in post-apocalyptic worlds.
Yeah, you'll never live that. Yeah.
I'm curious. I know that you're still going through the Abby storyline, but I think you're far enough through it that you probably have some opinion on this. So, Last of Us Part 1 is very much kind of like partner gameplay, right? Like you're always playing sort of with one other person that you're relying on. And then in Part 2, they decided to introduce a bunch of other characters, even if you're not necessarily playing with them the whole time, they're just around you. And I think Abby's playthrough makes that especially clear with like the squad that she's with. like the medic and Owen and the other people that I forget the names of. But interestingly, the dogs also make a big thing, because when you're playing through as Ellie, dogs are like the bane of your existence, and it's always like take the dogs out first. But then you see the other side of it from Abby's perspective, and the dogs are just, just tools, like, everything else.
Yeah, they're good, and they do, and they have a really good purpose.
So did playing through Abby's storyline, I'm thinking of specifically the piece where you get to play fetch with the dog in the stadium, where I chose the chaotic evil approach and threw the ball over the fence.
You're a monster.
So I can never get it.
You're a monster.
Yeah. Bad ending.
You do feel a little bit bad, like in some of the Ellie parts, you've got to like shoot the dogs. And then
that's what I was going to wonder, is how much of playing through Abby's, because obviously they made the choice to put Abby's piece after Ellie's piece, how much does playing through Abby's piece reframe some of the decisions you've made and some of the ways you approach combat?
Can I quickly cut in for something real quick here as well?
I don't know. Steve, is he allowed to? Okay. Yeah, cool. Steve allows
cut
it.
in, please.
So something about the dogs as well that I saw was a hot topic for a while was that before the game came out, Naughty Dog specifically said you can go through the game without killing any dogs. And then right before you finish the Ellie section, you have to kill that one dog. And immediately after you start the Abby section, immediately as you start the Abby section, you start playing with that one dog that they specifically made you kill. And people were like, that's a bit too on the nose sort of thing. Like, you're trying too hard to pull on that emotional weight.
Well, look, I hate to be that guy, but you kill a lot of fucking people in that game.
You do.
A lot of them, like, you do get like emotional attachments to.
I think you can get through all the encounters without killing people.
Oh, you probably can, but there are a couple of like scripted scenes.
Yeah, definitely scripted stuff.
Yeah, but then at the same time, like, it's probably making it a bit harder for yourself if you do it that way. But if you're playing on the easiest difficulty, maybe it's a bit easier.
That's why all I do is use landmines.
I still can't get them to work very good because I put them and I sort of forget where they are, and then the guy comes up behind me and he blows up the landmine, blows me up. I'm fucking shit at it. I'm just gonna go up behind people and just stab them, and that's it. All the best.
Landmines are so much fun. You're still not quite at the part where I feel like we're gonna have a proper discussion. So I have some gripes with Last of Us Part 2, and weirdly, it is with the writing and storytelling, which it sounds like you're a massive fan of, so this will be interesting. But you sort of need to have the game finished for the discussion to make sense, because a lot of the issues, I'm not going to preempt anything, but I feel like we're going to end up revisiting this when you finish the game.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I got, at the moment, I just want to say how good the story's being represented to me. We'll have a better discussion when it's over. But to answer your question with the dog, I think it was fucking sick how you could actually like play with the dog, and I'm like, oh, cool, that's the bad things that happen to that dog.
That's the dog that I slit the throat of about 10 minutes ago.
yeah, and it is kind of like jarring, and I do like that sort of, like the better word, the juxtaposition of like how Abby thinks that the wolves, the Washington Liberation Front are these animals, these hyper militaristic group, whereas we sort of play them and they're just people trying to get by, and they're in war with their sort of weird religious scar people as well. I really like that. But yeah, you're right. We should have a big sort of powwow type of thing when I finish the game, which should probably be this weekend. But at the same time, I am once again having a whinge. The game's fucking too dark. I can't play it when the sun's up.
Just turn up your brightness.
It doesn't really work like that. Like it helps, but like not as much as what I thought it would.
Just squint while you play it.
Close the curtains.
Now our curtains aren't. Well, we've got blinds. They're not like complete like light blockers. Like it still lets in a little bit. It like I'm telling you because I'm telling you. Apart from moving the PlayStation into another room, which I could, but I'm just a lazy piece of shit. Yeah. Well, I'll just play when the sun goes down. Daylight saving's over. Sun goes down at 5.
Sun's out, guns out.
Well, sun's not
down.
Yeah.
Last of Us.
Dressing gown on.
I don't know.
Maximum comfy.
Fair. Okay. Well, I think we might as well leave it there. It's awesome to hear that you're having that you think so highly of the storytelling.
I thought you were going to say that I think I'm having a good time.
Well, no, because like the storytelling, I think everyone agrees that the gameplay for Last of Us Part 2 was good. I haven't heard anyone say that they have issues with the gameplay of Part 2. It's the storytelling and the plot direction that sort of divides people. And it sounds like you're in the camp of you really enjoy it, which is good to hear.
And it is and that's because the gameplay is like good. It doesn't do anything like out of scope or
it's safe.
Anything
it's
new.
Safe. You know
it does play it safe. Yeah, like if you play number 1, you pretty get number 2. But yeah, it is a narrative driven game, so that's pretty good.
Cool. In that case, I'm going to interject with my own point. So, Tiny Tina's Coiled Captors DLC, the thing that I clickbaited, cliffhangered everything on at the end of last week, it's shit.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's tragic news, boys. Sad to report that Coiled Captors was dead on arrival. Lucky
you didn't buy the season pass before the DLC was announced, right?
Imagine thinking that every other Gearbox Borderlands title has had 4 really solid story DLC pieces as part of the season pass, and going, yeah, but they're not going to do that with Tiny Tina's, and then not buying the season pass. Oh, how big brain would you be? Yeah, I think the entire community is real fucking mad. But the worst part of it, so yeah, I would say to give context, but everyone's so pissed that it's so short, there's not much context to give. It's basically an add-on for endgame content, and they charge you $15 for it, 15 NZ, so I don't know, translate that to whatever local currency Epic Games Store or whatever store is in for you. The main takeaways, it is cheaper than other story DLCs that they've done in the past. Fine. It's still not at a content to value ratio that anyone would think this was a good idea. And they make it even worse. So one, it's really hard to find the DLC to start. They don't tell you where it is. So I'd finished every quest in the game on the character that I tried to do this DLC with. And I had no idea where it was. There was no map marker or anything. It was like, where the fuck am I going? And it was only by wandering around the overworld long enough that I went, oh, is that house always there? And no, the house is where we started the DLC. So it took me 10 minutes to find the house, and it took me 8 minutes to beat the DLC.
No.
So, yeah, exactly. And so this DLC is, you go in, you get a little bit of story, fine, whatever. And then you go through some randomly generated rooms, which is basically the same as the Chaos Chambers at the end of the game. And then you fight a Sharky Boy boss, and you kill him, and the game goes, hey, you did it. These levels can now show up in the Chaos Chambers, and Sharky Boy can be a boss. And then everyone went, oh, that's odd. Is there anything, are there side quests? Is there anything else to do? Can I explore? Can I do literally anything else? And Gearbox went, no.
Fuck off.
Thank you for playing. They did say, well, rather it has been mentioned that Sharky Boy boss has a few different forms, but each of those forms is behind a time gate that you must wait 1 week after finishing the previous one to unlock. So, as of recording this, I probably won't get to it today, but tomorrow we'll be able to go and fight Sharky Boy version 2. And then I'll have to wait a week, and then fight Sharky Boy version 3, and then wait another week, and then fight Sharky Boy version 4. And the way to get to Sharky Boy is the same little selection of randomly generated rooms that you walk through as what I've already done. So basically, I'm looking forward to, over the next 3 weeks, playing another 30 minutes of this DLC.
Is it?
That's where I tap out.
It's fucking shocking.
Yeah.
And they've also, even within that, they've made some weird decisions. So they gave you a second in-game currency as part of this DLC called Souls. And you're like, okay, fine, Souls. But they treat it almost identically to the Chaos Chamber currency. The only difference is that it persists. So Chaos Chamber currency, while you're going through a Chaos Chamber, you get to, you get currency to spend on that run, and you can use it for perks and bonuses and other bits and pieces. And then at the end, you get to channel all of the currency you have left over into loot. And everyone's like, yeah, good chance for legendary loot. System works well. It's looking good. The only difference with Souls is that you don't have to spend it all at the end of a run. You can save it and then come back and use it later. But I don't think anyone understands the point of why there's this, we already have that Chaos Chamber currency. And the whole point of this DLC is that they make a big deal to tell you that you can now get these randomly generated rooms as a seed in the Chaos Chambers. So it's a really weird decision for me that they What I mean is they seem to have gone, we've given you Endgame, we've given you Chaos Chambers. This DLC specifically serves as an add-on to those Chaos Chambers. But you can still play the DLC by itself for souls. But I don't know anyone that will do that, because you get, a few souls versus a lot of Chaos Chamber currency, and you get to spend a lot of Chaos Chamber currency on a lot more loot than you would souls. It's so weird that they've sort of tried to do two things and just sort of fucked both of them in the process. It's real annoying.
So do you reckon that you will put more time into it, or is it more of a, you've already done it a couple of times, or a couple of forms you can sort of verse off against, you can get more souls if you really want? Is this sort of it for you? It sounds like
I will.
You're not essentially burning out, but you're just so disappointed. It just sort of seems like, what are you doing?
Yeah, well, that's kind of the weird thing, is that there's so little, like, because it's only like an 8 to 10 minute DLC run, I might as well come back in a week, or tomorrow for level 2, and then a week for level 3, a week for level 4. I might as well do that because it's only 8 to 10 minutes per run. Like, I don't have to. It's not like a payday Easter egg where it's like, oh man, you got to do this thing for like an hour and then go and hit all these like COD zombie Easter eggs to fight this hidden boss and yada yada yada. It's like the DLC is so short that you might as well just do it when it unlocks in a week. One other thing, the funniest part of this is that when they initially launched the DLC, Gearbox fucked it, and people that did level 1 automatically unlocked level 2. So some people have already fought level 4, and then Gearbox went, oh shit, people have been playing the DLC, but they didn't wait the prerequisite month before they see what the level 4 boss looks like. We're just going to release a hot fix to make sure that doesn't happen. And so you have people that are like, okay, well now I actually have done the DLC. I've spent 30, 40 minutes or whatever on it. I've done everything. What the fuck? So to compare, Borderlands 1, 2, pre-sequel technically, but that one didn't go as far as multiple DLCs. They just had Claptastic Voyage. Borderlands 3 all had big set-piece story DLCs, many hours of content, new enemies, new areas, new loot, new stories, everything. And that was all part of the season pass. This, same enemies you've already fought, where some of the enemies even had missing name. Just that was actually what they were called. Because of a bug.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, same enemies that you've fought. Same area, like slightly different area, but basically just a reskin of the same area. And then the Sharky Boy was really the only thing new. And there is a new status effect as part of the loot, but it's kind of like, what the hell is this? And what I said last week, like the soul read of, I saw a trailer for this and it looked like, hey, it's an arena fight with a boss at the end of it. I hope that isn't how the other 3 DLCs go. I feel like that might be the case, because Gearbox would have decided that this is the DLC that they want to do months ago. And I refuse to believe that everyone at Gearbox looked at what was being released as part of Core Captors and went, oh, they're going to love this. The community will not get enough of Core Captors DLC. It's going to go great. I'm pretty sure people are actually trying to refund the season pass, and it's leading to weird situations where it's like, Coil Captors, you actually cannot play more than 2 hours of, so it falls within the, played something for 2 hours, get a refund thing. But if you bought the season pass as part of the standard game, can you actually split it out anymore? Can you just refund one part of it? There's a whole bunch of weird things that have been brought up, but everyone's real fucked off at this DLC. But, and there's a huge but hanging over this, the DLC was released alongside a gameplay patch that everyone, myself included, thinks is the best gameplay patch they could have done for Tiny Tina's.
So along with the worst content they could have done with the game, they also did the best thing they could have done for the game.
They did. They released, I don't know what version patch this is, but it wasn't like a hotfix. This was like a major gameplay patch. They rebalanced a ton of skills, a ton of guns, touched up all the classes, fixed tons of little UI annoyances. I've still found a couple, but they are so much less common compared to before. They did a fantastic job. They extended the endgame content. They added a new loot class, everything that the community wanted. Gearbox was like, here you go, gamers. This one's for you. And to just bundle that shit sandwich together with the first of the season pass DLC, everyone's just confused because like everyone's like, we're really happy that we got this gameplay patch, but we're really sad that we got this DLC. So,
So, man, this is just the fucking monkey paw. Would you have preferred no DLC and only gameplay patch? Is that what you're trying to say? Would you have paid money for the gameplay patch? It seems like...
So for the price they're charging for the DLC, yeah. I think I and many other people would have paid for the DLC patch, for the gameplay patch. The DLC, in terms of the amount of content added for that DLC, excuse me, there were a bunch of really cheap DLCs that came out in Borderlands 2 called the Headhunter DLCs, which were done as little, basically celebrating holidays. So there was like a Valentine's Day one, Christmas one, and they were all really well received. And they were all very cheap, and they had multiple hours of content. I think some of them had, probably three-ish hours of content. So not like giant set-piece story DLCs, but, that's about 6 times the amount of content in this paid $15 DLC, which everyone went, oh, that's interesting. What the fuck? That's interesting. So I've still been playing Tiny Tina's. I've just been playing the stuff that they've added in the gameplay patch. So that's the Tiny Tina stuff out of the way. Everyone's real pissed about that. The thing that I want to get your guys' opinion on is this is going to double into everyone talking about how shit Netflix is at the moment because of. So real quick context for that.
Oh no, the Netflix stocks.
Yeah, Netflix said we're going to grow by another. I think it was a couple million subscribers was their prediction for this quarter. And it was released that they actually lost 200,000 subscribers, and it's the first time they've lost subscribers since 12 or something. Like, they haven't lost subs forever, and so they've lost subs for the first time this quarter. What were you going to say, Seth?
They also said they expect to lose another 2 million or something.
Yeah, over this coming quarter, they've revised their forecast, and they're like, oh yeah, actually it's not looking good for us. And so Netflix stock has dropped by, I think, 40% over the past couple weeks at least, probably past month, I'm not sure. Netflix stock has plummeted, and now everyone's going, is this the death of Netflix? Blah 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 blah. Everyone has their own take. People can go and find them. What I'm curious at is that a lot of the people that have been talking about this have talked about what the binge culture of releasing a series all at once has meant for how we consume media. And it's funny that people mention that because Tiny Tina's tried doing that with Core Captors, where, you get to fight Sharky Boy at level 1, and then you have to come back and find out whether Sharky Boy gets any harder at level 2, for all of 10 minutes in a week's time, or, tomorrow for me. So what I want to get your guys' opinion on is, what are your takes on the media binge of something like Netflix? Do you prefer a series to drop all at once and you get to consume it as fast as possible, or do you prefer it to be time gated? And does it change whether it's media or something like what Tiny Tina's is doing? Seth, do you have a thought? For
games, I prefer things being all there. I hate time gated stuff. I hated the way events were handled in Monster Hunter World. I don't know if they ever patched Monster Hunter World to just have all the events there from now on. I think they still cycle in and out.
They do cycle. They combine a couple of them, but they still cycle on a weekly thing, I think.
Yeah,
so it's better, but it's not freely accessible yet.
Yeah, I for games and game content, I prefer everything to be freely accessible. When it comes to like TV shows and like Netflix and anime and things like that, I don't mind either way. Like, so if I'm watching a lot of stuff on a weekly basis, that's fine and dandy. Like Mandalorian, watching it week by week was fun, and the discussion for every episode was great. And then you get like the Netflix binge cycle where it's like, oh, this hot new series just dropped. If you don't watch it all within the next 2 days, you're just gonna get spoiled. But generally, when it comes to like things that are already done, I'll just binge them. But I think for new things, like doing it weekly, give people some breathing room, is a bit of a better way to go. But I could go either or for like Netflix and series.
Interesting. Steve, what about you?
To be honest, for video games, I think it is the worst fucking thing, and probably you see a lot in like mobile games, especially like free to play games. There's a lot of like, this week you'll be able to do this, and then in a week or two they'll change it, and you'll be able to do something else. And that's to keep people sort of retained, and especially in the gachas and free to play MMOs, they'll be like, yeah, cool, keep coming back, and $10 here, $10 there, and by the end of the year you spent quite a bit of money. I absolutely fucking hate it. I just give me all the content at once, and that's probably why I'm a big fan of waiting 2 or 3 years for all the DLC to come out, for a complete edition to come out, and then a complete edition to go on sale, because I sort of like will play, like if I get a game, for example, Elden Ring, it's come out, I'm having a great time with it, I'll probably finish it soon, and I'll probably announce some DLC, but then for me it'll be like, well, I don't want to start a new playthrough just to get to the DLC. But at the same time, I don't want to play the DLC without playing through the game, because I feel like I might be missing something, or my reflexes might not be as good. So I absolutely hate it for games. For movies and TV shows, more TV shows, I'm sort of on the fence about it. I do much prefer to sort of, when a TV show's over, I'll just... Because my sense of binging something is like maybe the ADHD riddled brain or something. I can't really sit down and watch more than like an hour of a TV show. Like, let's say, point in case, my example is I'm watching Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5. I will watch 2 episodes of that, no more, a day. Sometimes I might watch 1 episode if I've got a busy day, don't have the time. But every morning I get up, I'll watch 2 episodes, and then I'll work from home. I can't watch more than that, because I'm like, okay, I'm bored, I'm bouncing off it. And that's pretty much been my philosophy with everything. Like 10 years ago when I was watching Smallville, and that was like fucking 10 seasons of 25 episodes a season. Fuck, that was so bad. I'd watch 1 episode a day, because that goes for about 45 minutes. When I was watching Supernatural, I do the same thing. There was, like, when I was watching My Hero Academia and Demon Slayer, me and my partner were watching that as it was coming out, so 1 episode a week, and that was like sort of fun, something to look forward to. But I'm just not a big fan of it. I'd like to sort of have my own limitations, and my own limitations are 1 or 2 episodes a day. But maybe, well, that's all sort of it's all going. It seems to be sort of, there was a big culture of Netflix and other streaming services dumping them all, and then everybody binging it in a week, and then or less than a week, in a day or 2, and it's like, okay, cool, I'm done. Whereas now, like with like Disney Plus, and I think Amazon Prime is doing it as well, like with The Mandalorian or The Boys, or even with some of the Marvel spin-off things like WandaVision, they're doing it week by week, and people are retaining it. It gets people invested, and it does sort of encourage that discussion. Like, I never watched it at the time, but when Game of Thrones was going week by week, and people were making all these fan theories and talking about what was going to happen next week, it does sort of facilitate better discussion and better sort of discourse in different communities. So to answer your question,
also suffered massively because of the binge culture. Like, JoJo's, like every other season of JoJo was week by week releases, and everyone was excited for JoJo Fridays, and so much memes and stuff would come out. And then Netflix got the rights for Stone Ocean, just dropped a batch of episodes and went, here you go, see you all in a year. And it's left everyone's consciousness already, like there's nothing for Stone Ocean.
Yeah, and they only dropped like, what, half? Oh, I haven't seen it.
12 episodes, I think.
Is that it? Jesus, because I was going to watch it. I'm like, oh no, they're only dropping like a couple of episodes. I'm like, I'll wait till it's all finished and I watch it all in one. Like, I'm not watching 6 episodes of, well, because I've already read the manga for Stone Ocean, so I know what's going to happen. I'm like, well, I'm not going to watch the fucking 6 episodes to be like, well, I know what happens next, but I can't watch it for a year. That's mental.
Yeah, and at the rate it's going, it probably won't finish for like another 3 years.
Well, yeah, which is a shame. But yeah, to answer your question, it's fucking shit for video games. It's semi-shit for TV shows, but I usually watch things a year or 2 after they come up anyway. So I don't know where I was sort of going with that.
Yeah, so there's 2 other points that I'm going to throw at you to see if it changes anything that you said. I didn't really consider the content burnout side of it, because I consume pretty much all media just myself, like just by myself. And I don't get burnt out because I always, it's almost like because I've got more ADHD than you. Like I have to be doing something else at the same time. And if what I'm watching on the other screen is interesting, I'll pause whatever I'm doing on my primary screen and just watch it. But it means that if I'm getting bored or if I'm not paying attention to it, I have something else to keep me entertained and I'm still passively enjoying it. I'm still, consuming it, just maybe not at 100% attention compared to other people. But
I can't do that unless I'm like grinding or something. Like if I'm playing Pokemon, I'm just trying to grind out some levels or just do some catching or something. I'll have something on in the background, but
yeah, if I'm like doing that while working, it needs to be something I've already seen because I can't do something new because I want to pay attention to the new thing as well.
Yeah, I'll never do something. I'll never have too focused.
Yeah, so I didn't consider that side of it because I was actually in favor of the binge culture, and so that content burnout point I think is probably the strongest that I've heard. Because I'm in favor of it because the things that I see in terms of why people are against it is that if you do time gated content releases, it encourages the community, which I don't participate in anyway, so I don't give a shit. It increases staying power on the platform. If I'm there to watch a show, I'll be there to watch the show regardless of when that comes out, so it doesn't apply to me either. And if it's already been made, you're basically just artificially waiting to show it to people when, if it's otherwise finished and ready to go, you're just artificially delaying when it is that other people can see it. Which is why we get things like, hacks and leaks and stuff for stuff that has been not necessarily every hack or leak is for stuff that's ready to go, but a lot of that stuff is, basically finalized. And so I was actually in favor of the binge model.
That reminds me of Street Fighter Cross Tekken, actually. They had 12 DLC characters, 6 from each side. They were on the disc day one for PlayStation and Xbox players, but they were locked off and put as a separate DLC you had to buy. And the excuse was we wanted to make them come out exclusively on Vita first. And the Vita version came out like 3 to 6 months later.
Oof, yeah, nice. What the fuck? I hate that.
That's a good point, Seth. That's a good point you raise. I'm not going to say that it sways the discussion at all because that's such a weird edge case.
Yeah, it is.
But no, actually, I've come around it. I'm now against the binging culture on the back of that because I think most people probably do consume stuff in a more in a healthier way rather than me just constantly watching shit. But so the two other things that I want to point out. So you guys both brought up examples like time-gated content or seasonality in mobile games and multiplayer games and things. I would also posit that something like Life is Strange and the Telltale games and other things get done and released as episodic gameplay. But I don't think you see the same discussion or community being fostered around waiting for the release of the next installment in the game series in that way. So I'd be curious as to whether that changes your opinion on anything. So less so about let's just swap the content we currently have, and more so, let's say one version of reality, they have, Life is Strange is just the first thing that comes to my head. They have all 5 episodes of whatever Life is Strange game coming out next, ready to go, but they just artificially wait 6 months before releasing each one versus just dumping all 5 at once. Which one do you think is the better approach? And do you think community discussions form around video games, or is it just because more people consume TV media?
I've seen discussions form around those episodic games as they go episode by episode, and it's like I think that's also hits on the TV angle of like that also hits that sort of mindset, but I think I'd still be on the boat of I'd prefer to have all the episodes ready to go and just play through them myself.
Yeah, I'm probably in the same camp because I hate to use the exact same example that you used, but even those Telltale series, if you break those up into chapters, like the 5 chapters they've got through one episode, yeah, I wouldn't be a fan of it. And then it's sort of one of those things, like, for example, for even a bigger game that's narrative based, like The Last of Us, imagine if that was split into like 5 or 6 chapters that released like month by month. Like it'd leave a pretty bad taste in your mouth. Like, and most of those things sort of end off on a semi cliffhanger to sort of get you interested in the next one. I understand that.
Yeah.
But
Could you imagine if the fade to black partway through Last of Us Part 2 was then like coming 2020, coming
like
next
the next
year.
year, see you in 6 months type of thing. You go fucking mental. Like, yeah,
it took 2 years for Sonic 4 Episode 1 and Episode 2 to come out. That was a weird one.
Absolutely.
Bro, Half-Life 2. Where's Half-Life 2 Episode 3? That's all I'm saying.
There is no Half-Life 3 coming out.
I think it's interesting.
Interesting points. I don't think games are the same type of media as TV, simply because of their interactivity, and I think the culture around it is different. Like with TV, it's already been established that, well, it's sort of fading out now, but back in the old days of like free-to-air TV and even pay TV, there was like you'd have to wait week by week for episodes because they had to finish filming or animating or what have you. Whereas games have always been complete, and season passes now, and I've got a really big problem with it, seem to be additional things that maybe should have been with the game. Some of them do all right. Both of them, I'm not a big fan of them.
And I think it's interesting too. We are going to wrap this discussion up. I know we've been talking about this for a while, but this is kind of we haven't done a deep dive in a while, and I need this. The final thing that I was going to say on this, let's say I go watch easy example. Have you guys seen Invincible?
Yes, I have.
Amazon series?
I've read the comic as well. Fantastic. Highly recommend
I still need to finish the comic. I'm like halfway through it.
So good. I can't wait to see what they do.
See, if that was done, like I'm more likely to recommend a series to someone, right? It'd be like, oh man, I'm not going to say like, oh man, this episode, the last episode of Invincible was amazing. You should go back and watch all of Invincible up until this point, so that we can watch it together. I'm much more likely to watch Invincible as a series and go, hey, I think you'd really enjoy this series. Go watch this series, not go watch and catch up. You know what I mean? In the same way, let's say Core Captors was the best DLC ever and it still had that time gate mechanic. I still don't think I would ever go to Josh or someone else that's played Tiny Tina's and be like, hey, you and I should absolutely play through the first piece that they've released for Core Captors. I think the prevailing mindset would still be, Core Captors is good, let's wait for all of it to release and then just smash through it together. Like, I think there's just like a difference in scope between how you recommend media and how you consume media relative to other people. I think for me it's just a solitary thing, and I'm probably in the minority for that. But yeah, that's all I want to say on it. I just thought it was interesting that we had Core Captors, which, sucks fucking dog shit as a time-getting mechanic, and then people talking about Netflix and binge culture. It was just crazy that they sort of stars aligned this week. But any final thoughts from you two?
Yeah, I think it's also just kind of a thing of when you sit down to play a game, you want to have like a long session. So when it's asking you to come in for like 10 minutes, do something to tick off a couple of boxes, and then head out, it's not as satisfying. You kind of just want to sit through a game and like get a good session going through like for a couple of hours while watching something. It's like they're usually half an hour to an hour episodes, so like at least in episodic formats, you just kind of like sit that. If you feel like binging more, then go for it. But you're already getting like a full-on narrative in that 30 to 60 minutes. So it's
that's a good point.
It's something very different.
Yeah, that fucking Borderlands thing seems fucking atrocious, man. Sorry, that's so disappointing.
It's the same as like going to Halo Infinite for like your 4 matches and then move on to something else. I just prefer not to do the Halo Infinite dailies.
I
know Steve did it.
Yeah, but I went into it like I'd play 3 or 4 games and it'd be like, okay, like I've had enough.
Yeah, I did it for Crash Team Racing at one point because they were doing characters on a 3 monthly basis, and I can't do dailies again. It's not that great. Even when I'm playing Final Fantasy 14, they have dailies. I'll do dailies on that, but I'm also committing to like playing 14 for quite a few hours and doing some other things as well on top of that.
I mean, Forza Horizon literally does seasonality, right? Like you log in each week and it's a different fucking season in the world, like summer, autumn, winter, spring.
Yeah.
And as a consequence, I just, it's kind of like yeah, if they hook you in to wanting to do the dailies, then you're a good, like, you're never going to drop that daily habit, right? But once you miss one, like I missed a car that in hindsight was really good in Forza as a seasonal thing, just because I wasn't near a computer for a week. Just, a week I was down visiting parents or whatever, so I never got that car. And now it's like, what's the point?
Yeah, as soon as you miss it once, it's like, I'm done.
Yeah. It's weird. It's a real ride or die mindset. Final thing. We all said that we've seen Invincible. Cool. Has anyone else seen Severance?
No, I haven't heard of that one.
I've never even heard of it.
Really? Apple TV.
Yuck! No,
if you
thank
have a PlayStation, you get a bunch of free months just by having a PlayStation. So naturally, I borrowed a login on a friend's PlayStation just so I could watch it. Really, really good series. But the thing that I wanted to bring up, which isn't going to go very far, seeing as I'm the only one that's seen it, I watched Severance and Invincible over roughly the same amount of time, being a couple days each. Just binged them both. I am a huge fan of how series like Invincible wrap up, where not everything is resolved. Some people would say that the final episode of Invincible left a lot of things that were unresolved. But the main thing is that the immediate tension and the immediate source of needing to fix something is gone. So you're kind of at a bit of a lull. Things have settled down a little bit, and it's good. Severance took it the other way, where they did the massive cliffhanger ending, where it's like, oh, what's going to happen? You have to wait until season 2. And I realized that I've started really just actively disliking that approach for finishing series, because almost every series that I've seen that does that end up dedicating the first 2 episodes of the next season to addressing the cliffhanger at season 1, and then they either drop it, or there's just so much like tension and stakes through the second season that you just don't enjoy it. So I don't know, mini rant. Maybe you can map something that you've seen that fits into those camps and agree or disagree. But
Stranger Things actually
saw both recently.
Touching on it very briefly, since I mentioned it before, but that way Invincible season 1 ends is also kind of the way that Stranger Things season 1 ends. Like, they've wrapped up a narrative, but they've left a lot of threads open that because it could have been cancelled after the first season, but it was very well received, so they went for the second one right away. But if that hadn't been greenlit for a second season, then it would have been a fine ending where it was, and the loose threads could have just been ignored, kind of. But now that a second season is coming up, is out, they can do more with those threads that they put in at the end.
Yeah, and I think, in my very selfish, I have no idea how the real world works mind, I prefer that to, you better pressure your local producer to make sure we get a season 2, otherwise you're going to have no idea how this ends. It's like, can you just fuck off? Just give us an extra episode to just wrap some of this shit up, because I'm so done with the next season, episode 1, answering the question and then just moving on. It's like, just leave the camera running another 15 minutes. Jesus Christ.
But then you wouldn't pick it up next season, would you? That's how they get you.
It's fucking shit. I will watch it if it's good. Don't make it good because we don't know what happens. Fucking backwards. It's so stupid. Anyway, I want to call time on this section. We spent way too long on this. Any final thought from you, Steve?
Not really. You kind of put me off getting the Borderlands DLC, the Tiny Tina's DLC. But at the same time, I don't know.
Buy Tiny Tina's. Buy Tiny Tina's. Excellent gameplay patch. Chef's kiss. Just DLC. No.
Okay.
Save yourself. Save yourself from the DLC.
Noted.
Don't call me a hero, but I bought it so that you don't have to.
I wasn't going to call you a hero. I never even thought those words.
Never even crossed your mind. Cool. I think that concludes Round Lunch for this week, unless anyone has any final thing they want to bring up.
Everybody play Elden Ring. Everybody go play Elden Ring. It's fantastic.
Yeah, you want to give us 30 seconds?
It's just good. It's great. I'm changing my build. I'm no longer going Dex, Bleed, Scimitars. I'm doing a weird Faith Intelligence build. I'll report back on how good I am.
Favorite and least favorite thing that's happened to you?
I don't know. I've died a lot.
Is that the favorite or the least favorite part?
It's both, because when you finally do get like the timing right for dodging bosses and their move sets, and you do overcome it, it's good. But then at the same time, it's all right, cool. How many times do I have to die to this boss before I get better?
Where are you up to? Like, what's the last major boss you've fought, or what's the major boss you're fighting?
I think the last major boss I fought was that the Queen of the Moon, whatever it is. I think I was sort of up to it last week. I haven't really progressed that much.
Luna something.
Yeah, so something like that. Yeah.
Rhea Lucaria.
Luna.
I keep wanting to say Lucaria.
Rhea Lucaria is a location.
Yeah, he's right. That's where the academy is.
Lucaria uses Zorosphere.
She's Queen of the Full Moon. It doesn't matter. It did take me some time. She summons like those ash things, and I was like, "What the fuck? Only I can summon those ash things." And she summoned the fucking dragon on me 3 times in a row, and I'm like, "What the fuck? This isn't fair."
Yeah.
But then I just found a good way to semi-cheat. Well, it wasn't cheesing her, but I just was like,
oh, I absolutely cheesed my one.
Yeah. Well,
she kept summoning shit that I couldn't deal with, so I managed to one cycle her to death.
Yeah, eat shit. You didn't play the game.
You didn't beat the game.
I'm still loving it.
I had fun the wrong way.
I'm still loving it. I cannot highly recommend it enough.
Yeah. I'll eventually drop Tiny Tina's and go back to it, but for now, I have delicious gameplay patch to continue with.
You don't have DLC to play, so.
Ouch. Oh, well, thank you for that 2-minute roundup. Bang on 2 minutes too. Excellent. And with that, we come to the end of part 1 for this week. Thank you to everyone for that discussion. Apologies for how long my segment went for. Always happens. I will never learn, and I refuse to learn from my mistakes. Anyway, moving on to part 2 for this week, which is, of course, the news, starting with a confirmation that we have a sequel to The Batman. We had a discussion about this, right? We all saw this, didn't we?
Yeah. The 3 of us saw it.
What do we do to deserve this, fellas?
It was mostly positive. 2 of us liked it. 1 of us was wrong.
No, that's the movie was wrong.
That was my recollection as well.
The movie was wrong. I'm telling you.
Okay, fellas. Well, here we go, Steve. You have a platform that you can speak to this. What do you want changed to make the second The Batman better?
Great question.
Not end 30 minutes before it ends.
So just do the opposite of what they did in the first movie, and there you are.
So just play The Batman in reverse.
Yes. No, play it at 0.5 speed.
Ooh.
Instead of it raining,
more leather creaking.
Yeah, I don't know where they could go. Yeah.
More cosplay in an otherwise serious universe.
I want him to wear more eyeliner. Instead of eyeliner, he's wearing lipstick. Don't forget, do you kiss the Batman
interesting
on the lips?
Take. Do we see him slowly transition into the Joker? Yeah.
You tuck him in.
We see him slowly transition into the Joker via the use of makeup, symbolizing society's eventual breakdown.
Well, we do live in a society.
Well, that's true. That is true. I've heard that we do that. I'm excited. I quite enjoyed the first one. I think it's an interesting take. I hope they continue with the sort of tone that they went for the first one for a second one.
I want to see Robert Pattinson's Bruce Wayne grow. Like, we got like early Bruce Wayne where he's like, he doesn't care about himself. He just cares about being the Batman.
Where he's what, Saif? Yeah, Bruce Wayne didn't exist.
Yeah.
He sat there and then had eyelines around the camera for a little bit and then went back to being Batman.
Yeah, exactly. And I want to see more of him learn to be like, do that balance of Bruce Wayne and Batman and do that properly. Because that part's always interesting as Batman goes on.
Anyway, yeah, we don't have much information. We just know that a sequel is in the works, so I guess we'll just stay tuned and, see what else comes out of that. We know, obviously, we do know that it's confirmed that Robert Pattinson is, of course, returning. Anyway, next up, we have more movie news. This one, I don't know, Steve, is this one more or less positive for you?
Which one? Like, you jumped down, you skipped the first one that we were supposed to talk about. So
yeah, we lost track of which one you're talking about.
Are you talking about the Spider-Man one?
Oh, no, my bad. I did jump down. Started with Batman. I was going to go to Mario.
Yeah,
Mario movie delay.
I'm absolutely fucking devastated.
Absolutely.
This is literally the worst fucking timeline. Another Batman and no Mario. Oh. What
can man do against such reckless hate? Honestly.
And then, man, that's every day. There is no God. I'm just going to come out and say it.
I also find it really hilarious that in the statement for this, it's Miyamoto giving the statement, and he said he had to consult with Chris Sun, his partner at Illumination, But as I was reading it the first time, I was like, is he really consulting with Chris Pratt about whether he should delay this Mario movie?
Chris is like, hey man, look, it needs more time. I haven't quite got the wahoo down.
The yippee is there, but the wahoo needs a little work.
I'm just worried that it'll conflict with Garfield. Like he's just such an important guy, and he's such a pinnacle of the voice acting industry. I don't know how much
we're gonna get some blurred lines, some accidental anime crossover.
Yeah, like if I hear Mario complain about Mondays or Garfield say whoopee, I don't know.
I mean,
what I do.
the one final warning left to us by the crew of Ghostbusters from however many years ago was that we should never cross the streams, and it sounds like Chris Pratt is dangerously close to doing that.
There's a bunch of movies being delayed at the moment. I wouldn't be surprised if Garfield does get delayed as well.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Mondays,
Maybe.
am I right?
God, imagine if the Garfield movie releases on a Monday.
I hope it does. I know that it won't because that's just absolutely the worst for cinematic releases.
Yeah,
but,
it is.
It would be funny. It would be funny. It's Monday somewhere in the world. Yeah, but basically we have confirmation that... Shut up. We have confirmation that the Super Mario Bros. Animated film is delayed until April 7, 2023, and another couple weeks after that for Japan, April 28th in Japan. Yeah, that's...
It's a big delay.
I can't... It is a big delay, but I also... I don't know. It's such, like... That's obviously, we need to fix some stuff, or we need more time on this, that all the people that are like, oh man, I really wanted this to come out now, like... It's not going to be good. Like, adhering to its original release date, I think would be the worst thing for the film if they need that much more time on it. But that's just me. I'd like to think it's because they realized that giving Mario human teeth was a bad idea, so they need to go back to the animation studio and fix that up.
They're gonna do the reverse Sonic thing, where now they're just gonna release a movie with a hideous Mario.
They gave us a Mario that was too animated, and everyone was like, make it more human-like.
Wait, we still haven't actually seen a trailer for this yet.
No, I know. So I'm saying it'd be really funny if it's just like some absolute just creature on the screen. Just total nightmare fuel. Anyway, not much more we can say on that. I'm always in favor of delays because that almost always means the product is better than what we'd otherwise be getting. But crazy take. I know. In the world of shoving everything out the door before it's ready, myself included, leaving home. Next up on the list, we have the third in the list of movie news for the week. Sony making more Spider-Man villain movies, and it's funny that this was mentioned because I don't know any of these, like not even by name. I don't know many Spider-Man villains. Most of them I've learned from the movies, but I don't know any of these. Does anyone?
I know Craven only because I played Spider-Man 1 for the original Xbox, and he's like some hunter dude. But there is no greater hunt than man, am I right?
I mean, Craven is a man.
So he's hunting himself.
Sounds like the hunter just became the hunted, yeah.
But no, I've heard of Craven, and I've heard of Madame Web, and I did list this as like villains, but Madame Web isn't really a villain. She helps Peter Parker a lot. But this third guy, El Muerto, no one knew who he was
until he put on the mask.
Yes. Oh, thank you.
The funny thing is
I was just about to go for that.
The funny thing is that his power is from that mask. Like, apparently he's a luchador that wears a magical mask.
Sounds like something that Jim Carrey would play in a 90s action film.
Yeah. But when these three movies were announced, no one knew who El Muerto was, and then people did some digging, and it's like, this dude's only appeared in 2 comic issues in his entire run.
Jesus, only what? But no, what? How did that get greenlit? What are they thinking?
Gets his own film. Fuck yeah.
I don't know, but not long after this, I also want to point out that Andrew Garfield came out and said that he's taking a break from doing movies to figure out his life.
So maybe
unrelated.
We're not getting Amazing Spider-Man 3 then, eh?
I have a feeling that all of these guys were building up towards Amazing Spider-Man 3, and now that's just, that's out the door.
Bum 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 bum.
Maybe next time, eh?
Yeah, I mean, I really have nothing else to add to this. I hope they do well and that people know what they're doing with these.
If Morbius wasn't done so badly, I would have said that Craven could have been interesting. But yeah, Morbius is making me like go, no, none of these will be good. I don't know how you do a Madam Web movie because
I mean, chances are you just need to make sure Jared Leto isn't the main character, right? And
True.
you're like already most of the way there.
More like Jared Let It Go, eh?
You also need a decent script writer.
I'm pretty sure the main thing is making sure that Jared Leto doesn't touch it.
But yeah, also for Madam Web, I don't know how you do a movie based on her because she just kind of sits in one place her entire life.
So like gamers, right?
Yeah.
It's just a Twitch stream.
Relatable.
3 hours. Finally, in the news this week, we have some Spider-Verse news. Originally, we were looking forward to Across the Spider-Verse, which was supposed to release like a week ago, and then they announced a couple days after it was supposed to release, oh, hey, we're going to delay it. Good combo. Always love to see that turn of events. But we have news that Across the Spider-Verse Part 1 is still Across the Spider-Verse, but Across the Spider-Verse Part 2 has been renamed to Beyond the Spider-Verse and has been delayed until 2024.
I'm all for this. I prefer
a
separate name than going Part 1, Part 2.
Mm.
And
The Last of Us Part 2 has entered the chat.
So what if it was Beyond The Last of Us?
The Beyond of Us.
The Across of Us.
Across the Last
After us.
Before us.
Before the After Us.
Have you guys ever see that meme and it's like a mock-up of like a game case and it's like The First of Us and it's like these cavemen beating the shit out of each other?
I'll still reiterate from an earlier episode that my favorite is still The Fast of Us and it's a ghost hunting game.
That is Bloodborne Kart.
Bloodborne Kart's gonna be real.
It is.
Also, I want to point out for this is that it's going to be an extremely large animated movie project because they're going to have 240 characters, which is an insane amount of characters to have included.
I really look forward to the 2.5 hour runtime for Part 1 and then the 1 hour of credits where they go through and credit every one of those 240 characters.
Yep, it'll be insane. I'll love it. And they'll have a post-credit scene as well.
Yeah, they're going to have a post-credit scene, yep. Oh, it's going to be absolute torture.
There's going to be a mid-credit scene and then a post-credit scene, and you got to sit in the theater for an hour to get to them.
Bro, there's going to be an intermission in the mid-credit scene.
Yeah.
It'll just be the ghost of Stan Lee that just says, "Stand up, stretch. Don't worry, we're not going anywhere. We've got another 30 minutes of this."
Oh, they do the Ferris Bueller's Day Off bit where at the end they go, "What are you doing still here? Go, it's over."
I've never seen that Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
It's a good movie.
Absolute classic.
But yeah, I'm very excited for more Spider-Verse stuff because the first movie was fantastic.
First movie was fantastic. I need to go back and watch
agree.
it. I'm very keen. I need to rewatch it.
Even just stick the soundtrack on shuffle. Excellent time.
Very good soundtrack as well.
Next up on the list, we're out of movies, I think. Yeah, we are. Gearbox has announced that we're getting a sequel to Tales from the Borderlands.
Speaking of movie games.
Yeah, we're back to the episodic discussion.
This one's interesting because
Did you guys play the first one? Let's just start with that.
I did not. It's something I've been meaning to for ages because I think I got it for free on PlayStation Plus.
I haven't finished it. I've played through, I don't know, I want to say about half, I think, but it's been a while. I need to go back and finish it. But I knew most of the characters, and I knew all of the characters that were then introduced in Borderlands 3, because this was kind of like a tie-over. So I wasn't surprised by anything. I'd met most of them, I think. But yeah, I haven't finished it. What about you, Steve? Did you finish it?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I loved it. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was...
Did you have a moment of silence for Scooter?
Yeah, that's a shame. But he was only written out of that because the voice actor had like throat cancer and that was his last performance because he literally apparently was in a lot of pain actually recording his lines.
That's
absolute
real
fucking
sad.
hero. Yeah, real recognizes real. It's kind of a shame. his last performance was in a spin-off, but he was very good in that. But I love Tales from the Borderlands. I think I'd probably say it's one of my favorite Telltale series games. Simply because, maybe because I'm probably more invested in the Borderlands type of lore, but I really enjoyed it. I think it's really good.
Let's touch on that for a second as well, because this new one isn't going to be by Telltale. It's being done by Gearbox internally.
True. Yeah, that is a change.
It'd be interesting to see if it's the same thing, just they just doesn't have the Telltale name on it. Is it still going to be the?
It's they just re-released Tales of the Borderlands Part
1. The Gearbox cut.
They just scrub all traces of the Telltale name off the game. I'm just remembering just great parts of that. Just as we're talking about it, the finger gun fight, excellent. Patrick Warburton just being Patrick Warburton, excellent.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I haven't played it in so long. I think I got it for free on Games with Gold, so I've definitely got it.
I need to go back and finish it.
Yeah. All right, boys.
Randy Pitcher is also making the bold claim that it will release this year.
Oh, it is.
I'm going to press X to doubt that one. The thing that I am curious about, specifically with this one, is that so I have a hunch, right? I have a hunch. I'm soul reading. I'm analyzing the webpage in front of me, and I'm thinking, what is in the chaotic mind of Randy Pitchford when he's not fucking spitting in people's faces or whatever the fuck he does at Gearbox.
Yeah,
he's a weird man.
Or losing porn in a medieval restaurant.
Yeah, that's right. I did that. Yeah, it's strange,
I don't think I've read any normal story about Randy Pitchford. Even if it's just he showed up for work, it's he showed up for work, but then something fucking weird happened. Anyway, what I suspect they're going to do is that they're going to use Tales of the Borderlands as so. I'm explaining this really badly. Borderlands 3 pulled in some of the characters from Tales of the Borderlands Part 1. I suspect, and it's hinted at in this article courtesy of Gematsu, that they are looking at doing a similar thing with tying characters and stories that were conceived and made in Tales of the Borderlands into a main game title. However, what I think they're going to do is they're going to use this as a chance to sort of rectify and maybe even retcon some of the mistakes they made with the storytelling for Ava, because everyone hates Ava, but Gearbox made it very clear that Ava will be a large part of the next Borderlands game. So I suspect that we're going to get a lot of Ava or Ava adjacent content in this Tales from the Borderlands series to try and get the community more on board with Ava when they do the next Borderlands mainline game. That's my hunch.
Yeah,
I don't know who Ava is, so I will just trust your word on that.
Same, I wouldn't. It wouldn't surprise
the
me.
15-second summary of Ava. She's an orphaned kid that becomes the protege of a very, very loved character in the Borderlands series called Maya, playable character in Borderlands 2. Just sort of like a character in Borderlands 3. And then Ava just gets her killed in Borderlands 3. And the community went, she's an absolute piece of shit, but maybe she'll take that as like a lesson and a turning point, and she'll become a more mature character. No. The entire time she's just this petulant little shit. So they get to the final scene, and Lilith, who otherwise has been the guiding light of the Borderlands series until now, turns around and goes, "Take care of Sanctuary, Ava. The future lies with you," and then goes and basically kills herself in service of closing.
Her planet needed her.
Yeah, pretty much. and so the community is like, okay, this is not what we want at all. So that's why I say it's my hunch, is that universally everyone went, Ava's shit. Ava's going to be a major part of Borderlands 4. This is problematic. So we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, that's how I read this.
So I think Randy soul read what you were trying to soul read, because he came out and said that they were going to be doing all new characters and all new stories for this game.
Yeah, but even within that, right? Like Reese and I don't remember the other characters. Far out. Either way, the Hyperion guys from the original Tales from the Borderlands were still...
Yeah, I can't remember the name at all.
Yeah, but they were still around Handsome Jack, right? Like, they were still in the same kind of area, and they still influenced his character, and he influenced their characters. So Randy Pitchford can stand up and try and soul read me, soul reading him all he wants, but I reckon it's still going to be all new characters and stories around trying to get the community on board with Ava. Your move, Randy. Checkmate. I'm going to take the silences that everyone agrees with me. That's fine. Cool. We'll move on. Next up on the list, we have Siphon Filter games, which I don't think I have played.
I've never heard of
Siphon
these.
Filter 1, 2, Dark Mirror, and Logan's Shadow. I've heard of these. I've just never played them.
Yeah,
they're rated for PS5 and PS4 in Korea. So
I've never
you
played
wanna take this
these, but I've heard of them quite a bit. I know that Siphon Filter was a very popular thing on the PlayStation brand for quite a while. So yeah, just seeing these getting listed for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 is kind of exciting news, and whether it's part of the PlayStation Plus program or they're coming in a separate thing, it hopefully is a separate thing so I can check them out because I'm not upgrading my PlayStation Plus tier. But yeah, whenever these come, I'll hopefully give them a check out.
Siphon Filter, Dark Mirror, or Logan. I don't remember. I think I've played one of them on PSP.
Yeah, it says here
don't
Dark
remember which
Mirror
one,
was the APS launched for the PSP.
It's so familiar though. Like the more I think about it, the more like I've played one of these. I don't remember which one, but I have played one of these. Crazy how long ago. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I don't remember much, but I remember enjoying it because I finished it. I don't remember anything about it though.
Yeah, no, I hear they're like super enjoyable games, and they just kind of disappeared after the PSP.
Just like the Vita.
Yeah. Poor Vita. It deserved better. Maybe if it had a Siphon Filter game.
True. We're waiting. Anyway, yeah, looking forward to that. Get a nice nostalgia hit vicariously through people that own a PlayStation, which is not me. Next up on the list, Splatoon 3. We have a launch date announced, September 9th.
Yeah, this is kind of interesting because September is when Xenoblade was supposed to launch. So I'm guessing Xenoblade got moved up so that Splatoon could take September.
I mean, you know what they say, Splatoon Timber. That's the launch week, month. Shit.
I don't think people say that at all.
Well, it's free. People can. I'm not gonna copyright strike them on that one. So long as they give me a bucket with which I can stomp people younger than me, I'm good. That's all I enjoyed doing in 2.
I liked the dual pistols a lot in R2 when I played it.
Try hard.
I never played
the dodge roll was fun. But no, they also did a release date trailer, and yeah, it looks like more Splatoon. It looks pretty fun.
Yeah, it's interesting. I never actually finished the single player for Splatoon 2. I only ever really did multiplayer.
Is it any
but
good?
I heard the single player was good.
I always think that maybe I should play Splatoon, but I never do.
I probably wouldn't get it now. I think you're well past when it would be worth getting now. I've heard the single player is good. If it's on sale, I'd probably worth picking up for the single player.
A Nintendo game on sale, you absolute fucking madman.
Yeah. See, if you'd be paying full price for Splatoon 2 now when you can just wait 4 months and get Splatoon 3 for the same price.
For the same price.
Well, the Splatoon 3, Splatoon 1 cost the same.
Yeah. But yeah, no, the single player, and the single player actually got DLC, I think, too, which I also didn't play.
Oh,
but yeah, no,
yeah,
I've heard good things about the single player. I've just never finished it myself.
The DLC is also being changed to be free with the premium Nintendo's pass.
You mean the Nintendo Game Pass?
Yeah, the Nintendo DLC pass.
The expansion pass.
But yeah, the Splatoon 2 DLC just got added to that for free as well. So if you have that and you have Splatoon 2, then go for that. I've heard that DLC is fantastic as well.
It's better than the Borderlands DLC.
Yes, actually, from what I've heard.
Can't wait to hear about this continuously.
First it was RCS and its graphics, now it's DLC and its worthiness.
Yep. Coiled Captors, the shit show of Gearbox. Yeah, it'll be interesting. With
Also,
hopefully
I'm
it
watching
goes
this
well.
trailer now, Patrick, and I can confirm there is a bucket.
It's the
Good.
paint.
That's all I want.
The paint fill.
Step 1, bucket. Step 2, fill bucket. Step 3, hit kid with bucket. Well, hit kid with paint in bucket. But, that could be a comma. Maybe there's not. Anyway, next up on the list, we have Sony finally adding variable refresh rate via a system software update.
I can't believe this happens on the week that Josh got a PS5.
I reckon he orchestrated it. He must have insider knowledge, I'm telling you. That's why he's not here. He's playing his PS5.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Gran
he's in the lead
Turismo.
From his bed that he shat in.
He's
not here to refute that.
He's wiping his ass with the PlayStation and it's white, so I just got a weird streak mark. Okay, that was too far. I'm sorry. Come back, Josh. We miss you and your shit-stained PS5.
Yeah, no, this is something that they've been supposed to be adding for quite a long time, because if they didn't, they could have actually been sued for it. So I guess they were coming up to the limit of when they could do it. A whole bunch of games have also been updated to have VRR support. So
so as an Xbox player, I've had this for quite some time. Can you maybe explain what VR is? I think I have an understanding of it because I saw a funny video about it.
Okay, so it's your TV or monitor has to support it, but basically what it does is the refresh rate of your screen will match the frame rate of the game. So if you have frame drops, then it won't be as noticeable because your TV isn't refreshing the where the frame drops were happening.
Okay, so it's just keeping everything in sync then.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Okay.
But yeah, that's good. I consider this update to be similar to Nintendo finally saying, oh yeah, it turns out we had the ability to use Bluetooth headsets the whole time, Lamau.
Yeah.
Turns out it wasn't a hardware limitation. Here's a software update. GG, Chucklefox. Anyway, that article courtesy of Komatsu as well. But anyone that has a PS5, all 10 of you that could find one in stock, congratulations. Enjoy. Yeah. All I really have to say on that. Next up on the list, we have this one I find very funny. Time-limited game trials are now going to be a requirement for PlayStation games that are $34 or higher. They say at wholesale. I don't know what the average game margin is, but basically I'm assuming most AAA games are now going to have a requirement that they get a time-limited game trial. This one, also courtesy of Komatsu, as an article. Almost certainly as part of their PlayStation Plus premium bullshit that they're trying to push, which I laughed at when they said that you get to play time-limited trials of games, just because that seems like such an outdated demo format to me.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, cool, gotta pay for a demo now.
Yeah, it's fucking weird.
I think this is something that I've seen come up, and I kind of agree with it thinking about it. But it seems like that people think they might be doing this because PlayStation has a pretty harsh no refund policy in the States and stuff. I think they have to do refunds over here because of our consumer laws. But now to try and get around that, they're doing these game trials for the higher end of PlayStation Plus to be like, hey, you're not actually buying the game, give it a try, see if you like it, and then if you buy it later, you can't try and refund it on us because you've committed.
Okay, that take at least makes more sense than just here at Sony, we couldn't figure out why people would pay this much for the top tier PlayStation Plus subscription, so we're just going to give people demos, and we're going to force people to make them.
Yeah,
I do find it funny that in the article it's noted that time trials are only required to be available on the service only required to be available on the service for at least 12 months. Only required. Maybe I misread that. I thought on initial reading that they were only expecting that these 2-hour limited trials were going to be around for 12 months apiece. I might have ended up misreading that sentence, but never mind. That would have made it way funnier if Sony's forcing devs to go make a 2-hour trial of a game 3 months after launch and then say, don't worry, we're going to get rid of it after a year anyway.
No, I think it's a game by game scenario is like 12 months after the game comes out, so they don't have to have a time trial anymore.
No, but that's my point. It seems weird where it's like, I know that you spent all this time making the trial, but don't worry, you don't have to like maintain it after 12 months.
Yeah.
It's like, well, yeah, because we've already made the trial. We're not doing a live service demo. Or maybe they are, I'm not sure.
I get to read that it can be taken off the service after 12 months. So like, so like if they do a demo for like, let's say God of War Ragnarok, whenever that comes out, 12 months after the game comes out, they'll just take the demo off PlayStation Network.
But that just still seems even funnier that Sony's telling devs to pour money and resources into this, and then at the end of 12 months, don't worry, we're just going to trash your project.
Yeah. And they also say that they'll have you can do custom game demos instead of the time trials, but it has to be approved on a case-by-case scenario.
So
it's such a stupid system.
Don't worry, Steve. In future, people will be able to speedrun the Joel % Last of Us Part 2 thanks to Sony's premium in-game trials.
Wait, this is actually like the biggest brainless play, because this is exactly what Naughty Dog wants people to do. They want people to stop it. Joel getting killed. And it's like, oh, well, you play the game.
Yeah, that's the whole game.
Yeah.
Thank you for playing Last of Us. There's a speedrun of, I think it's a Zelda game, weird tangent, which is fastest done on a demo. But I don't remember if the demo is of the Zelda game or of another game and the demo is of Zelda. I think it's of another game and the demo is of Zelda.
I think it's Smash Brothers. Smash Brothers does have demos in the Japanese version. I think that's what you're about to say.
Yeah, I think it might be that. I saw this ages ago now, but it just reminds me of that. Where I think the fastest time you can set is doing it in the demo for whatever Zelda game it is, just because it's a demo, so it's got a whole bunch of different like shortcutted code and mechanics and things, so people can beat the demo version faster than the real game. I think is the story. Hilarious if true. I should probably go confirm that.
Yeah, probably confirm that.
Anyway, I personally think it's stupid and that people aren't going to pay the highest PlayStation Plus subscription tier just for in-game demos, but what do I know? I don't even have a PlayStation. Get fucked, Sony.
I have a PlayStation 5 and I can tell you, I will not.
You heard it here first. Next up on the list, we have... so, this next story I find funny. We hear about PlayStation setting up a game preservation team thanks to the most LinkedIn of LinkedIn posts by a guy that they just hired, a Canadian game dev by the name of Garrett Fredley. This article brought to you by videogamechronicle.com, who went onto LinkedIn and talked about how excited he was to join as a senior build engineer at PlayStation, working for the newly created preservation team. And it's, oh god, like, you can't help but cringe when you see LinkedIn posts of like, today is my first day. I'd like to thank everyone that helped me get here. I'm looking really forward to working and, making the world a better place. But this is the first time that we've had any confirmation that Sony even has a game preservation team. So I can't help but feel like his first day was suddenly made very awkward when a bunch of people in black suits showed up and asked them to come with him.
Broke NDA right away, hour one.
Yeah. Like pre-hour one, he's not even on the premises and he broke NDA by being excited for it.
He walks in and it's like, sorry, big fella.
Yeah.
Keep walking.
In like, to take the more positive spin, it does basically confirm that there is something happening with older PlayStation games in some capacity. Obviously, nothing has been mentioned yet, but we know that there are things like it's like a PlayStation 3 streaming, right? We covered this last week.
Yeah, and
one of them is like
God, I hope that they just
streaming,
turn that into emulation later instead of just streaming.
Yeah. Surely they wouldn't set up a games preservation sort of branch if they weren't doing. Yeah, surely they can't just stream it. I don't know. I've seen.
But don't worry.
I'm wondering if this branch is going
Garrett
to be.
Fredley's on the case.
I'm wondering if this branch is going to be similar to what the Microsoft's back compat branch was like. At least that's what maybe. I hope it's like. Where they just they try to make an active effort of restoring their past games in like a very efficient manner that's just moves forward with every console, like what Xbox is doing at the moment, or what they have done, because apparently they've stopped now.
Yeah, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But go, Garrett. Hope you enjoy working as a senior build engineer and not winding up in a dumpster behind Sony Studios or anything. All I really have to say on that, tangentially, because I know it's not on the docket, but I know that we talked about it briefly before recording. Saif, your thoughts on the PlayStation Plus selection for this month?
It's shit. I can't even remember what they were, but it's all shit.
Are you not a fan of FIFA 22?
I am not a fan of sports games in general, no.
You're not a Chad Sports Ball enjoyer?
I am not. I'm sorry, Steve.
I don't know how you can do it the same game every year, man. I don't know how you can't like that. What's the difference between FIFA 14 and FIFA 22? Literally fucking nothing.
It's even better when they get worse year by year instead of better.
There's an IGN review they did of like FIFA 21 for the Switch. And it's pretty much like they put zero effort into this fucking game. I'm going to put zero effort into my review and literally just copy and pasted the review they did the previous year. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Fucking based. 10 out of 10.
Good. So funny.
I also love that. I don't know if they do it anymore, but like a couple of years ago, every iteration on the FIFA game, they talk about all this amazing new technology. Like, you know, the feet move independently and there's like all these different kick animations and stuff. But
real ball physics.
Yeah, like all of that. It's like I have friends that live for the fucking latest FIFA game or whatever, and I'll sit on their couch watching them play it. I would not be able to tell you what FIFA game they're playing. It could be FIFA 14 for all I know.
It just depends on what console they're playing.
It looks the same every year. Like, oh yeah, all that real ball physics, cool. It looks identical to when one of them kicks the ball in this game, when one of them kicks the ball in a previous game. Call me crazy. I don't remember what the other PlayStation Plus games are, but yeah, there wasn't anything that stuck out to me as something that would be like, oh boy, PlayStation Plus this month looks good.
Yeah, no, it wasn't an exciting month this time.
It looks shit.
Yep.
Like, but at the same time, the Xbox games with gold has been shit for like fucking 4 years. So welcome to the pain, big fella.
First time. Anyway, GG Sony. Lastly, well, no, second to last actually. We have a Monster Hunter event set for May 10th. I'm excited for this. Sunbreak content is always good. So we're absolutely going to hear more about this, once we hear what it is they're announcing.
Get ready for another hour of Monster Hunter coverage.
Oh, you know it. I'm assuming this will be more fleshing out of what we can expect with Sunbreak, which is, of course, coming up in 2 months, I think. Yeah, just under 2 months away now. I'm super excited, and I still need to go back and finish the PC version to get ready for Sunbreak.
Yeah, I need to do the same soon as well.
It just keeps getting pushed down my list. Anyway, pretty much nothing else to report, but if you happen to be around May 10th, 2022 at 7 p.m., 7 something PDT, I'm assuming AM actually, PDT.
Yeah, because they've got 1500 for BST.
Yeah, I don't know what either of those time zones are.
PDT is Pacific Daylight.
See, here is where my brain went to. I saw that, and I went, Pacific Dialogue Town from Gen 3 Pokemon.
How do you pronounce that?
Pacific Dialogue.
Isn't it Pacificlog? Look, it doesn't matter. I'm
you're
Someone's
probably
cooked,
right.
and it's not me.
you might be right, but there are a lot of words in Gen 3 Pokemon that, I don't know, how old was I when Gen 3 came out? I remember playing it in year 5, so 10-year-old, maybe even younger, me. Even younger. 9, 8 to...
I'm Googling
8 or 9-year-old me looked at some of those names and went, this is how it's pronounced now. I don't care what anyone else says.
So it's spelled like Pacific, but instead of a C, it's got like a D. So it'd be Pacific Log Town. Pacific. Maybe you're right. Fucking hell.
Damn. 8 to 9-year-old me has a better reading comprehension level than me now.
It's a shit fucking word. Anyway. Why does Hoenn have 2 N's? Man, what is it?
Because it's the second gen, baby. Best gen.
Third gen, but it's still the best gen.
Right?
We'll take those.
Maybe you are cooked, Seth. Put a fork in there, you're done.
Finally, not on the docket, but just really, really quickly touch on. Twitch decided that that they might be dropping revenue split from 70-30 with creators down to 50-50. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that this is a bad move, likely to be met with apprehension and disdain by the community. Seth, are you pro Twitch to getting more money?
This is a bold move by Twitch. Let's see how it plays out for them.
They had us in the first half, not going to lie.
Really coming in with this pro-consumer stance.
Yeah, Steve, are you also in favor of the underdog being Twitch relative to YouTube and other streaming platforms?
Don't forget to tip your Twitch landlord. Look, it sounds fucking shitty.
Pay a coin to your Twitcher?
Yeah. Oh, that was a good one, actually.
Oh.
Hey, thank you.
Get that remix.
I'm sorry, Patrick, but after this, I need to squeeze in one more. Something just huge came out I need to talk about as well.
That could be the name of the episode title as well. But yeah,
it's not.
I don't know. Content creators make so little money on Twitch. The majority of them, anyway. It's kind of hard to be like, well, Twitch is taking more money. That's not really fair, is it?
I don't know. I feel like Twitch only making hundreds of millions / low billions of dollars a year really does put it as the underdog relative to the industry. So I'm in favor of them absolutely crushing middle and small creators to make up for that shortfall.
You're not being ironic. I know you love capitalism. Like, hey, you piece of shit.
I don't know. I don't see how this move does anything favorable to them. I think all this does is drive people away from Twitch if they see that sort of thing. Oh, actually, there was a funny follow-up where one of the heads of one of the YouTube live streaming arms, YouTube Gaming or whatever the hell it is, one of the heads of that tweeted out like, hey, YouTube live streaming is doing real well. Also, side note, just for anyone that's interested, we're maintaining a 70-30 partnership split. So, just leaving that out there.
Got it.
Nice. It hasn't been confirmed. It's been rumored, and it might have been internal discussion leaking out or whatever. But I don't think I've seen anyone that has taken the side of Twitch in this. So
it's all been anti-Twitch ever since it came out.
There's no justification for it. It's not like as if Twitch is struggling. There's no justification for it. It's being greedy.
And also running more ads and a few other bits and pieces.
Yeah, and trying to force creators to put more ads up as well.
Ludwig has being the golden boy of Twitch, who is now on YouTube, had an interesting video talking about it, at least on the ad side. Worth checking out on his Mogul Mail channel. Weird plug, just us giant podcasting platform helping pull up a small creator like fucking Ludwig.
Never say we didn't do anything for the community.
Exactly. That's where I think we're going to leave the news for this week.
Hold on. There's one more piece of news.
Oh, sorry. Yes, that's right. Yes.
You came out. One more. I want to get your thoughts on this.
Hot off the press.
So, critically acclaimed game, Balan Wonderworld. We all know it. We all love it.
Oh, shit.
Yep.
It just came out that Yuji Naka just revealed that he was fired from Square Enix 6 months before the game came out, and he sued Square Enix over the matter. And he's claiming that he knew the game was unfinished, and he was criticizing both Square Enix and the development studio over the game, coming out the way it was.
Jesus Christ. Man.
I believe Yuji Naka is now retired from the game development industry as well. So this is just him kind of throwing both of them under the bus.
Good shit. God, what a dumpster fire. See, I look at Babylon's Fall and I think, man, Square Enix really has it rough. And then I think, wait, no, they're also behind Balan Wonderworld. They deserve what they get.
Yeah. They also did Left Alive, that front mission spin-off that was really horrid, and Quiet Man, which was apparently a really shitty beat-em-up. Square Enix does bad things every now and then. Every time they put out a banger, they also have to put out something that's just really horrid.
Something that keeps them from flying too close to the sun.
It seems like they do one good thing right and 10 good things bad.
Yeah, it's to keep themselves humble.
Yeah. Remember where you came from.
keep their shareholders humble too. Well, I think that's where we're gonna leave the news for this week. Now we get to move on to the audience question for this week. This person didn't even write in with a name. Anonymouse's brother, Anony Caribou.
What about Anony Mouse?
Wrote in. Anony Mouse.
That was a better one.
Fuck, it would have been. I don't know. Anony Caribou will have to wait his turn, I guess.
Next time.
Anony Mouse, yeah. Anony Mouse writes in. Hey guys, loving the podcast. Would be really interested to know your thoughts on whether cloud streaming is a sign of the future or more of a gimmick. Slightly paraphrase the question, kind of fucked up the pronunciation. Doing it live, oh well, move on. Interesting question though. We talk more and more about things being done as cloud streaming. I don't know how long we're going to spend on this. I think its current implementation is shit in almost all forms, but my personal take is that eventually it will be good enough. There was a concept. It was done by, was it Razer that released a concept of like a streaming system that was platform independent, and you could just stream.
Yeah, that does seem like a very Razer thing to do.
I think it was Razer. I need to go look it up. But it was basically just, it looked kind of like a Series X or a Series S, just like a large brick. But you stick the brick on your home network and you can stream from any console, mobile included, onto, I think onto anything too.
Ah, cool. So
or at least...
I could stream it onto my Xbox.
Kind of, yeah. Or like, it wouldn't be that you streamed onto your Xbox, you'd stream it onto the TV. But because it's platform independent, you could stream it to anything that can consume a signal. So I assume that would also include phone if you were really keen. And I assume it would just have support for controllers and everything else. It's basically just like a middleware between like any console and a display. But that, as a concept, I think is the future. I don't think it's in consumer production. I think it was just a concept for a conference, but that I think is the future. But the current implementation of, oh, you want to buy a game, it's only available on cloud streaming, get fucked. I think that's really shitty and poorly done, and by all accounts, it sounds like it doesn't even work particularly well. Looking at you, Kingdom Hearts on Switch, and there was some other service.
PlayStation Now in general.
Yeah, remote play works well, but that's not really streaming because that's still based on content on your own network. There was one, NVIDIA. NVIDIA's...
yeah, GeForce Now. Is that it?
Is it GeForce? Yeah, there was something where it's like it sits in a data center and then streams to, wherever you are. But it's not based on a company. It's just NVIDIA streaming a game to you, and you have a little selection of games that you can pick from that you can stream. I haven't heard anything too negative about that, so I assume that's the best version of it. But I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts on this?
I'll just get my shit comment out of the way first.
He's going to have to be positive so that the Microsoft stocks stay up.
Well, but what am I supposed to do if there's no clouds in the sky? Is it just no gaming? Is cloud gaming ruined by clear skies?
And I hear the Microsoft stocks tanking.
Well, actually, on that point, you guys
my stonks.
You guys make fun of Microsoft all you want. Their cloud gaming they've got at the moment is pretty good.
We covered a story. Sorry, I'll let you finish, but it just reminded me of we covered a story 2 or 3 weeks ago about them partnering up with Sega. Was it? That there was an Azure. I think it was Azure Sega crossover, or it might have been Azure Capcom.
I think maybe it was Sega is partnering with Microsoft for something.
Yeah,
it was the Sega going towards
partnership.
Microsoft thing rather than Microsoft going to Sega.
Yeah, but I feel like there is a lot of opportunity in a partnership like that to enhance a gaming streaming experience. But what were you going to finish with, Steve? Sorry.
Yeah, no, I was just saying that because the cloud streaming that the Microsoft that comes with Game Pass Ultimate at the moment is pretty good, and they're adding games to it pretty consistently. So it's always good. I know I've got the option to sort of stream something to my phone. Like if I'm on the couch, watching the footy or something, I was streaming Slay the Spire to it. So during a slow moment, after the Panthers were putting on 20 tries. Slight plug there. I could still be playing it on my phone, and because it's sort of a turn-based game, I wasn't noticing any lag at all, to be quite honest. And the controls, it wasn't touch. There were no touch controls in any sense of the word, apart from having a sort of buttons on the screen, if that makes sense.
The overlay control.
Yeah, the overlay. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, and I thought it worked really well. I didn't feel I was.
So the only difference with that sort of example is that you're again streaming something from your own network, though, aren't you?
Honestly, I don't know.
Like your Xbox is running Slay the Spire, right? It's just streaming it to your phone.
I don't think so. No.
No. Oh, okay.
I think it was using my save, but it does stream it. Actually, you know what? I'm not sure. I was pretty sure it wasn't streaming from my Xbox. My Xbox is turned off. But my sense is that it's cloud streaming. But then at the same time, I'll heavy caveat that and say that it is a turn-based game, so I didn't really feel any input.
Yeah, so you don't
lag.
need the response time like an FPS would.
Yeah, so if I was playing like an FPS or even like a third-person shooter or any type of something that like a platformer that needed like precision timing, I'm not sure how good it would be.
Yeah, fair enough.
But at the same time, I probably wouldn't because cloud gaming isn't at a state where like I honestly trust that yet. I probably wouldn't go down that route. But then at the same time, I haven't tried it yet, so don't mock it till you try it type of thing. So maybe it's just something to maybe I'll explore it if I ever end up going away for holidays or something.
Saif, your thoughts?
I don't think our infrastructure is at a place yet where cloud streaming can be a viable thing. Like,
yeah, especially in Australia. Australia is very slow download speeds.
Yeah, especially us. I could see it being a future thing where it's like you don't own anything, you just stream everything. I could see it being like a viable option in the future. It's just we need to get the technology there first. We need to get like an internet infrastructure that works for it better first, and just make that technology work. Like it can get there eventually, but we're not there yet. I don't see it for like maybe another 10 years minimum.
Actually, you've raised a good point there, Seth. Like all video streaming services now are pretty much being streamed, so maybe it is sort of like an inevitable sort of conclusion that you'd essentially stream a game you played. When you're done, you're like, cool, I'm done. Like, yeah, are we sort of seeing with the rise of subscription services with Game Pass and?
Yeah, I think Game Pass is like a first step towards going there because people are already calling it the Netflix of video games, and once Xbox is making that stride toward doing it like their xCloud system, so it just feels like a natural conclusion that at some point they're going to go, whatever's on Game Pass, you can just stream, and then they literally become the Netflix of video games doing that.
Yeah, I'm still undecided on what I feel about that. It's good and it's bad.
In the world where that does exist, do you see, like, you know, let's say that happens, right? Let's say we get like technology sorted. There's no network issue or anything else. Do you see that finally killing off things like the gaming internet cafes?
I see it more kind of killing off AAA games because like going off like what Sony said for their games is like they wouldn't do day one releases on their service for their AAA games because they would lose so much money doing it. If clouds became like the norm, I think we'd see a big drop in like huge big budget games because they wouldn't be able to make their money back. If you go off what Sony said anyway.
Yeah, that's sort of a good point. It'd just probably be like AAA games would become like maybe the ones that you'd have the option of either streaming it or buying it, whereas indie games could only be streamed or something, or maybe the other way around. Or I don't know. But
I mean,
it's a good point.
You know, with Sony, you get a 2-hour demo, right? So you know whether or not you want to buy it.
Yeah,
2 hours
exactly.
sometimes is not enough, or is sometimes enough to finish a DLC many times over.
Imagine getting a 2-hour demo for Kingdom Hearts 2, and your only impression for the game is a Roxas segment. Peak
Imagine
fiction.
getting a 2-hour demo for Coil Captors DLC for Tiny Tina's, and you get to finish the DLC like 8 times.
What's another game that would do really badly with a 2-hour demo?
You could argue like some games, most games, probably 2 hours isn't enough to sort of like sink your teeth into and to sort of like get the hang of it and get the hang of the mechanics, especially in like literally any JRPG, 2 hours is literally like 2 cutscenes.
Yeah.
I was thinking something like the whatever Civ 7's going to be. That in 2 hours you would have zero idea whether or not you want to buy the game.
Well, if you're doing like a with the smallest game mode, it might be alright. But then like you're sort of ruining the experience for yourself if you're playing it on that mode anyway.
Balan Wonderworld, I'd argue that 2 hours is too much time.
PlayStation's actually doing you a favor by taking it away.
Yeah.
Interesting. Anyway, any final thoughts? I don't have anything more to add to this discussion.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Yeah, it's an interesting concept, and I do believe you're right, Seth. In the next 10 years, we'll probably, if we're not completely streaming everything, we'll be very close to it, and it is sort of coming towards that inevitable conclusion of essentially not really owning anything, unless you want collectibles or something. You can get your anime figure girl in a jar, and that's your business. What goes on between you and God is your business.
You had to mention the jar, didn't you? You just had to take it that far.
Hey, man, if I can't own my video games, I've got to own something. The Krispy Kreme, right? Does that fit in the jar? Okay, that was too far. I'm sorry. Crispy jar.
Working on that original glaze, are you? Oh God, I'm pulling out. I'm pulling out.
Pulling out of the jar, or
Oh God.
Pulling out a
I
joke.
didn't say anything.
Fade to black. Fade to black. Guys, cut us out. Cut us off.
Yeah. Don't got you, Steve. Got you, Steve. Don't worry. Thank you, Anony Mouse, for most of that discussion. Gonna have to bleach the rest of it from my memory. If you or anyone that you know has an audience question you'd like us to answer, feel free to get in touch. We are on Facebook at Fast Travel Lounge, on Twitter at Fast Travel Lounge minus one of the L's, or good old-fashioned email, fasttravellounge@gmail.com. Feel free to like, subscribe, share, rate, review, follow. Any other buzzwords I'm missing? Probably.
Smash that
Do any of those.
motherfucking like button.
Or, whatever else is the equivalent of a like button. Don't smash anything illegal. We don't condone illegal activities on this travel lounge. We're traveling fast. We're not traveling illegally. But that does bring us to the end of episode 21 for this week. Episode 22 next week. Anything that people can look forward to? Last of Us Part 2 discussion, perhaps? Ace Attorney discussion, perhaps?
Yeah, Ace Attorney will be done by then.
Yeah, I'm assuming Ukulele will be done as well. I didn't really talk about it, but I don't really care for it. So I'll give my final thoughts on that. I don't know what I'm going to start next. Heard good things about Lost in Random. I don't know. Let me think about it.
Maybe I'll do the Final Fantasy 14 update finally and talk about that. It's been a while since I've shielded Final Fantasy 14 on here.
Yeah,
it has been.
Yeah, it's been like 2 episodes without a Final Fantasy 14 discussion. My hair's falling out.
I like that we derailed Saif all through the first part of this episode, that we actually let him speak through parts of his contribution to the episode. We're going to have to make sure that doesn't happen again.
Can't get more than 3 sentences out before an interruption.
Every time Final Fantasy 14 comes up, Steve just keeps interrupting me going, but it's not on Xbox.
It's not on Xbox. Where's Temtem as well? Temtem on Xbox when? Yeah.
Good question. Maybe
There's
ask
a
Elon Musk
spoiler
to
cast.
buy Temtem just to release it for you. Where's this podcast? Excellent. Where's Josh? Even better question. Anyway, thank you for joining us for this excellent legal age to drink episode 21 at Fast Travel Lounge. I've been Patrick. I've been joined by Seth and Stephen, and we'll catch you next week. Goodbye.
Keep Betty White out of jail. I thought of something at the start of the episode. I completely fucking forgot what it was.
What was it, Betty White, or was that just you reaching for something?
That was me fucking reaching. I honestly couldn't fucking tell you what it was. What fucking was it? Oh, whatever. I wake up at fucking 3 a.m. screaming. And my girlfriend's like, you know what, Steve? It's time to... Yeah, you've had enough. You've gone too fast in that lounge.